I'm just a little bit. Shit. I'm just a tad. I feel agitated right now all of a sudden.
Well, the heat doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't. My ancestors are like, "What's happening? You're not in Ireland. Where are you? Get out of there now. I didn't die through the potato famine for this." Well, they didn't die in the potato famine. They survived it, and then they were like, "Let's leave."
I think
my
it's time
ancestors
to go.
specifically were like, well, we survived that. Didn't leave during. Well, should we leave now? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sure.
That sounds good to me. I'll see you in Boston.
Yeah. All right, yeah. What do you think in New England?
You guys want to start a mafia?
Yeah. no, man. No mafia affiliated members. Family members.
Yeah.
Wait. What's going on here?
What's the matter? You need a snack attack?
No.
You need more popcorn?
No, man. No, I don't need a snack.
I know you're running out of
I want to
smart
drink my
food.
coffee.
Okay, go on.
Can I just say something, Gabe? I love your blue shorts.
Yeah?
I like them, man.
Thanks, baby.
This should be called. It should also be called the Great Thighs Podcast, because are you seeing these on these clips how our thighs are looking?
They're powerful.
They're powerful. They're sexy. They're
unshaven.
It's yeah. I mean, I had to cover them up today. I mean, they were just getting too.
You're getting
getting out of
self-conscious
hand.
about your thighs.
No, that's actually not. I'm completely joking.
Dale does like
I
1,000
love my thighs.
squats
I have great thighs
every day.
I don't do 1,000 squats. That's not true.
He does. That's
I just
true.
keep my
He does
thighs.
900.
Nowadays, currently, I'm just trying to keep them toned.
Toned.
Just do some Peloton rides.
Yeah.
Keep them toned that way, cause you do too many leg workouts for me and my. What is that? What is that?
That's my impression of Dale when I walk into the kitchen and I hear breathing on the other side of his workout room.
That's so funny. That's just me. That's literally just me doing push-ups. Like that's all I do. All I do is push-ups.
Or Peloton.
Or
just
Peloton.
Busting your ass.
Oh,
Peloton.
you're referring to Peloton. Oh, yeah. Oh my god, dude. That's why
baby.
it is insane. Like shout out to Peloton. They don't sponsor us. If they did want to, I'd be cool with it.
Please sponsor us, Peloton.
Please sponsor us. There's no way they will. But
we will literally ride 2 Pelotons in every episode for the next year.
we'll put because we could put. Oh my god, with the movie Addicts theme, we could put a Peloton in the back.
Yeah.
Why didn't we turn on our purple light? Fuck!
Go.
No, that's fine. Where's the remote?
I don't know.
Where's the remote?
Can't you just flip
Get
the
the light
switch?
on for the people. Right
I'm trying to just get the sticker off my
now.
apple.
Jeez Louise.
This is
Look
upsetting.
at Gabe, now it's blink. Is that fine? Are you cool with
Hit
that?
number 8 or number 7.
Bing bang boom. Bing
Am
bing
I a
bing.
professional or am I a professional?
Professional. Gabe is always eating in the pod. See, this is the problem now. Is like with a pod is like we're becoming more aware of like the
Our
things,
habits?
our little ticks and things on camera,
I
and so
have to
now we're
eat.
aware of the awareness. Just pauses. When I say that and the floor opens up, we just send like into the shout out to Jordan Peele, the sunken place.
Yo.
Granted, that's not really what Jordan Peele. Obviously that wasn't exactly what he meant by that metaphor.
That's totally what he meant.
Yeah. He meant 2 white guys in their 20s were gonna become aware of their awareness, and then they were gonna sink. That's what he meant.
I need a little whistle for the sink.
Everyone's trying to say, "Oh, it's this commentary and all this." No, it's about us.
Dale,
It's
give
about-
me a little whistle for the sink.
Oh wait, we
And then we're
forgot,
out.
Gabe.
Oh, son of a bitch. Everybody get ready.
God damn it.
3.
All right, wait, hold on. 3, 2, 1.
Done.
It's the Movie Addicts podcast. So,
Wait, so should we actually, are we going to actually make it black that whole time? That was a lot of fun engagement.
oh
We
God,
have to
I don't know.
We have to stick to the traditional rule, though.
I know.
I don't know.
3, 2.
It was really fun for those of you who missed
Are
it.
podcasts just inherently self-aware, or are we being a self-aware podcast? I don't know.
I think, you know what I will say? Some podcasts that I've been listening to lately, it kind of exhausts me, the whole, like, all right, everybody, now my voice is on, and I'm kind of an attention guy, and I'm interviewing
Well,
so-and-so
because it shouldn't be
today,
like
and-
Howard Stern, right?
But a lot of people
Shout
do
out to Howard
that.
Stern, though. I do love Howard Stern.
I mean, sure, he's been around forever, but
But it's time for a new thing.
it's time for Dale and Gabe.
It's time for a new thing. It's time for Dale and Gabe. It's time for the Movie Addicts podcast.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Movie Addicts podcast.
Indeed.
Did you get the text I sent you from Andy? I sent you what Andy?
I did get it. I was working diligently when he sent it.
Yeah. Gabe was busy.
Would you like to reread it out loud?
Well, it's just my manager Andy sent me a text, and he said, "Let me find it." He's a great guy. He said, and he listens to the pod. He said the Attic Boys really crushed this Gray Man podcast, and he sent the gas emoji, like a gas tank. And I was doing push-ups in the front. I was like, "Holy shit!" So thanks, Andy, for that inspiration. I passed it along to Gabe.
Shout out to Andy.
Shout out to Andy.
Andy, if you want to
I was like, "Is
sponsor
my
the
fly
podcast.
open?" It's not.
No, you're good.
No, Andy supports the pod. I remember when I told him about the pod, he was like, his eyes just kind of widened.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was very stoked about the We're going to bring him on at some point, for
I like
sure.
the concept of the Attic Boys. How do you
I
feel
like
about
the
that?
Attic Boys, too. And when he said that, no one had said that yet.
Right.
And I kind of got a little, I got a tingle down my spine a little bit. The Attic Boys.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be anybody who follows us.
Yeah, it's kind of, the Attic.
Kind of like the Lost Boys.
But I think we're the Attic Boys.
Yeah, but nobody can be part of the club. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right.
Everyone's got to be part of it. Or maybe you have to be
That's the question.
guest interviewed in order to be an Attic Boy. Or girl, I guess for that matter. Attic people.
The Attic people. I kind of like
That's terrifying.
No, it's like the mole people, right?
It is.
From last
Yep,
epi.
yep.
It's like I like that. It's like we're the Attic Boys, the originals, but then if you come on, you become an Attic boy or girl, and then all of that whole community of people who have been on the pod, it's the Attic people.
Yeah.
I like that. So we're gonna initiate Andy into the Attic people.
As soon as you're interviewed, we'll have to talk about a movie to get him on for.
You haven't met. All right, I'm like I feel you haven't
Are you
met
jumping
Andy.
the gun?
So.
You jumping the gun?
Sorry, what do you mean?
With Andy?
What do you mean I'm jumping the gun?
You talking up too much gas on him? I feel like he's gonna be a great guy when I meet him.
No, he's a great guy.
You're making out Andy to be a legend. I think Andy's gonna be a legend.
No, he legendary. I would say, great guy, legend status.
On that subject,
and that's a lot. I don't even know.
Andy, why don't you come out right now?
He's not here.
Andy,
he's not here.
Hey guys, I've been so excited to come over here for the last 20 minutes. I don't know why you make me sweat in the corner.
Oh man, that's the problem. It's
Andy knocks
I
the
told
camera
Andy,
over.
I was like, dude, Andy, you should come on the pod, and he was like, dude, I'd love to. But what I was also thinking, what I thought after that was like, wait a minute, he can't come on when it's this hot in the attic. Like, I cannot bring this man up here to sweat
Guys,
profusely.
I know we don't look like we're sweating at all.
Does it not look like I'm sweating? I'm sweating. What?
But it's like 85 degrees up here, minimum.
Let me see. My Apple Watch. Shout out to Steve Jobs. Consciousness. Living in a computer currently at the Apple headquarters. 88 degrees. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you,
Jobs.
Steve. Didn't Sam say last episode something about like were frogs boiling or something like that?
Yeah. Sure feels that way.
Yeah. And we got the frog legs going on.
Well, I wore colorful pants today.
Here's the thing, Dale. Even if you don't want to show off your thighs.
Why did I wear pants, though?
You're showing off your thighs. These
right.
pants are powerful. If you can't tell, they got a nice little striped pattern.
These thighs
kind of
bring the yeeks out, don't they?
They bring out your East Coast autumnal essence.
Yes.
Packaged as an LA boy, LA attic boy.
It's nice, right? It's nice. It's very, there's something really lovely about that kind of intersection.
It reminds me of a nice apple scented candle.
Ooh, like some, Yankee
November.
Candle if you want to sponsor us too. Like, we're going to be fishing for sponsorships
All the time.
forever.
Yankee Candle.
It doesn't even matter like how good the sponsorships get. We're always going, more. Give me more. Capitalism.
Dude, it blew my mind that sponsorships aside, Flagrant 2 makes nearly 100,000 just off subscribers a month.
A month. Not 100,000 a year, 100,000 a month.
That's nuts.
So what's that? It's 1.2
mil
a year.
minus taxes, so we say they clear at least 600,000 to 750,000 a year.
But they get to so they take that in, and then obviously they're that doesn't they're writing off what?
That's why they can.
They're writing off expenses that goes right into the
Also
business. So they're
true.
writing off expenses and
Yeah.
things. So it's not like It's not like they split it. It's not like the host split it 4 ways. There's 4 of them, right? It's not like they split it 4 ways and it goes right into their pockets.
I'm sure they have like agreed salaries.
Yeah,
you know?
but it's like enough. It just like is a way. It's a nice revenue stream for the business. But
even if each of those boys only made like we'll say 50 a year, 50 making a podcast full time.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Shout out, I like the Flagrant. Shout out to Andrew Schultz, Flagrant podcast. I dig it. Yeah. It's a good pod.
And again, that doesn't include sponsorships. That doesn't include revenue for Andrew specifically from his ticket sales, online and in person.
Yeah.
It doesn't include any of the merch, their Heavies gym or whatever that shit is.
I don't know anything about their merch.
Yeah, they got some fun merch. Nothing crazy. We're going to have attic. We're going to have
the merch we could get for the attic theme is so good because I'm telling you, the Peloton, we could just throw. I could throw my Peloton. I have one downstairs. I could throw it in the back.
Yeah. You know, our guests have to ride the Peloton during the episode. I think that'd be a good use of time.
That would be awesome.
Definitely not distracting at all.
No, definitely not. Yeah, no, definitely not a way to make people really self-conscious.
Absolutely.
During the, definitely a way to make the guests just really comfortable.
There's definitely not going to be a shock collar connected to their neck. And there's definitely not going to be us telling them to go faster whatsoever.
Right, yeah.
At all.
It'll be like Eric Andre, like the naked PA. Just a PA in the back, like riding the Peloton
totally.
Constantly.
Yeah.
We just look back at him, like kind of menacingly.
You have to get somebody. Go on.
No, I mean obviously we're joking. For all the people who don't get that, this is sarcasm.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely not a naked cameraman behind the camera.
No.
Right now.
Well, that was his choice to be naked, the cameraman. He said, "Hey guys."
Hey, we didn't say he could come out from behind the camera.
We didn't say, "Hey, camera."
Come on, naked.
We fired the other guy. Well, we fired that other guy.
And so then we hired naked camera guy.
We fired the one cameraman who he was an idiot, terrible moron. We hired this guy, and the guy goes, "Listen, I'm a nudist. You guys seem like
it's hot in this attic. Do you care if
Do you mind? I feel comfortable when I work naked." And we said, "Well, we've seen your reel. We really like it. I mean, that's an odd request, but I
don't know if you guys have noticed during this episode, but we just haven't been looking towards the camera as often."
Yeah.
Because he's standing.
And there's the reason why.
He's standing right next to the camera.
Yeah. There's a penis kind of directly in our line of sight. All right, Gabe. I'm wearing colorful clothes. You're wearing colorful shorts because we're talking about a pretty colorful movie.
Speaking
today.
of penises,
are there penises in this thing?
There's no penises.
Oh, but there's kind of phallic symbolism in the bullet train.
Sure. Trains.
I like how the whole phallic subtextual. Right what? Okay. Well, today we're talking about.
No, go on.
Well, there's literary criticism. There's there's this whole realm of literary criticism and film criticism. It's all about phallic imagery. And
is this a Freudian thing? You think?
It's linked to a Freudian. It's linked to Freudian ideas, but I do think it's just a little silly. It can get to a point where I was reading a book. I have a book downstairs about Paul Thomas Anderson, one of my favorite directors, and it's more of a film criticism kind of book, more of a film subtextual criticism kind of book. I have another Tarantino one that I like a lot more because it's more about Tarantino. It's mapping his career in life and his influences as an artist. But then this one, the Paul Thomas Anderson one's fine. Not trying to chirp the author, but at one point the author is sort of suggesting in There Will Be Blood, there's phallic kind of meaning to the oil derricks, the oil rigs. And I'm it is. It's but it's also it's kind of dumb.
You know what I will say? And
I don't know. I don't know what I think about it. Maybe at one point there is literally a shot that's framed where it's it looks like the oil derrick is kind of his dick. Maybe that's in there. I really don't think that's conscious on Paul Thomas Anderson's part, nor do I really think that's in the artwork per se.
You know what I will say with Bullet Train?
At least in There Will Be Blood.
If we take the natural law of tension and release cycles, obviously that translates to sex, right?
Sure.
And to movies. And in the case of this film, a train moving towards its destination over the course of 2 hours, rising climax, and by the way, the entire time our protagonist is trying to get off the train.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe there's some kind of connection there.
There's something. Well, also, the Bullet Train really Bullet Train had, what I liked about it too is it had a there was a sexiness to it, and sort of an openness about like sexual subject matter that you don't really see in a lot of movies right now, to be honest with you. You see it in TV, actually, interestingly, but you're not really seeing it in movies. Like, there's just sort of like, there is nudity in this movie. There is.
Is there?
Yeah. At certain, well, I was thinking of the shot. It's like the it's part of a sequence. But it's like the politician's having sex with a woman, and then she's like, "I voted for you," and what? It's like it's a joke. But Brad Pitt had to like kill that politician or something.
Right.
Ladybug had to kill, and it's like Sandra. Oh, we spoiled that, but
me.
Well, first of all,
alert.
3, 2, 1.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
Okay.
We're gonna spoil the shit out of this movie.
Yeah. I just want to point out.
You haven't seen the movie. First of all, I want to say, Bullet Train. Should we just like
wait real quick before we even say how terrible this film is? Everything me and Dale are joking about with the sex. One thing I point out about this film, directed by, I believe, David Leitch.
I feel like it's Leitch.
Leitch. It could be Leitch. I don't know. You know what it is? It's spelled Leitch. It makes me feel like there was a point down the line, I could be a crazy man here, where it was actually a Jewish last name, and somebody removed the V from between the E and the I as if it was Levitch. Am I crazy here?
That'd be interesting.
I'm really curious about the translation.
That'd be crazy if that turned out to be true.
I don't know.
Well, just because, like, I mean, that does happen. That has happened over time. Is like people's names get changed slightly.
I just don't. And his first name's David. I don't know if that's a crazy leap, but point is, this film.
Interesting.
All the goofy stuff we're talking about with sex and whatnot. This film's directed by the same guy who did Deadpool 2. We all know has raunchy jokes and sex jokes and.
Which I haven't seen Deadpool 2, so I need to see it.
For sure, but the point is, like, I mentioned it to a friend, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm really into that because Deadpool 2 has all these stupid butt jokes." Exactly,
said, right?
Exactly. And I sat for like less than 2.5 seconds and was like, "This film doesn't ride on sex humor at all." There's you want to see
it does though. It has some stuff in it. Channing Tatum, the Channing Tatum stuff.
Yeah, but is it explicit? It's very tongue-in-cheek and silly. It's not,
which is what makes it good, though.
And yes, exactly.
Which is also what makes I thought the politician sort of like the flash.
For sure.
That gag is also funny because it's not really about
at all
the sex. It's more about like him. It's more about just like this. I don't even know what. It's like this sleazy politician thing.
Right. I'm just trying to say, if this film was divided into 100 moments, like 4 of the moments maybe have like a stupid sexual reference.
Right. We don't want to paint it. I don't want to paint it as something that it's not.
No. So I want to shut that shit down, and now we're going to talk about
Bullet Train. So it's a.
Give me some details right now. Bullet Train.
So it was released August 5th, 2022, i.e. 5 days ago. The director is David Leitch. It's adapted from Bullet Train, the novel, which was originally titled in Japanese.
It doesn't say. It's on the Wikipedia.
It was something. It was like Maria Beetle. It was a 2010 Japanese dark comedic thriller novel written by Arthur Kotaro Isaka and translated to English by Sam Melissa in 2021 as Bullet Train. And budget was $85.9 to $90 million estimated. Cinematography by Jonathan Sella. So the movie looks gorgeous, by the way. So shout out to Jonathan Sella.
It does. It really does.
Released by Sony Pictures.
Great.
Cast-wise, we have Brad Pitt as Ladybug. We have Bad Bunny as the Wolf, which I thought was really great. We have Joey King as Prince, or the Prince. We have Aaron Taylor Johnson as Tangerine, who is awesome. Sandra Bullock, that's a big spoiler. Sandra Bullock is in the movie.
Yeah.
And she plays... interesting. Sandra Bullock's character is named Maria Beetle.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is the woman in Brad Pitt's ear... The female voice.
They call him the handler. She's the handler. For the assassin, Brad Pitt's assassin.
Yeah, Brian Tyree Henry, who's one of my favorite actors working. He's awesome.
Yes.
He plays Lemon. Hiroyuki Sanada plays the Elder.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy who kind of comes in somewhat late. He's introduced, set up early. So I realized I learned this today, but Zassi. I'm so sorry. It's Zassi.
You don't just think it's Zazie?
No, it's not. I was listening to Dak Shepard's podcast today, and she was on it.
Okay.
And she is. She's great, and she pops up in it. Another great actor. So Brian Tyree Henry and Zazie Beetz, both from Atlanta, my favorite show, one of my favorite TV shows. Channing Tatum pops up. He has a really fun cameo that sort of had me was taking me back to like 21 Jump Street.
So good.
And Michael Shannon pops up, and he's fucking awesome. Ryan Reynolds pops up like real quick.
For
like real
seconds.
quick. Like it's a real deal cameo.
Yeah.
And it's the most succinct cameo I've probably ever seen. And yeah, that's the main cast there. Logan Lerman, that's who that kid is. He plays the White Death's son.
Yes.
Which I knew I recognized him. And then Andrew Koji plays Yuichi Kimura, who I believe is the Elder's son.
Quick business question. This might be too much of a sidebar. Aaron Taylor Johnson, I haven't seen in a film in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I also know he's contracted, supposedly, to play a villain in the Spider-Man universe, right? Spider-Man universe.
Aaron Taylor Johnson is?
Yes. Stay with me. Kraven the Hunter. It's this poacher that goes after animals, and Spider-Man is supposedly the most valuable, quote-unquote, animal in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
My point is, that film's also made by Sony. Do you think it's possible that they put Aaron Taylor Johnson in this film, not just because he's a great actor, but because they're trying to get him back into public eye so he has even more worth on screen when that film comes out? Is that a crazy idea?
No, it's not a crazy idea. My guess is that would go into the sort of final stamping of approval.
Yeah.
Is, it's between Aaron Taylor Johnson and a couple other people.
Yeah.
You know, who will Sony put their stamp of approval on? He's kind of one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
So how are we doing with box office?
So box office, I'm going to give me a sec here.
Mojo.
I'm hitting up Box Office Mojo, my favorites. Okay, so we got worldwide $68,972,866. We have in domestic accounts for 53% of that at $36,572,866, and international accounts for 47% of that total at $32,400,000.
By the way, the film costs I think $90 million to make. So they're going to make it back in about 2 weekends, probably.
Yeah, and so this is really, I mean, we're at the first. It had a great opening weekend. It's 30-something million. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to pick up steam. Pun intended. Not that a bullet train necessarily picks up steam. It sort of just
fine trains.
But
some trains use steam at some point.
But yeah. So it's doing well at the box office. Hitting 4,357 theaters. That's a pretty wide release, and again, only been in release for 5 days. So
can we hit the reviews, the current, I guess you'd say, data overall perspective on reviews?
Yeah,
at least on the home screen of Google. What do we got?
Absolutely. So audience reviews. So IMDb, we're looking at 7.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes 54%, which is bogus. And I'm going to look at the Google reviews real quick. Audience rating summary for Google reviews is 3.7 out of 5.
Are you sure?
That's what it says.
Wow.
That's only 1,500 ratings. But, I feel like it changes so rapidly.
I guess so.
So 50% Rotten Tomatoes, 54% Rotten Tomatoes, 49% Metacritic, 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which I had noticed. So, now that we're sort of breaking down all those numbers, it's doing okay up, at the top of its release. And I think it should be doing a lot better. You and I really loved this movie.
This film was fantastic. I'm going to tell you right now, complete lockup. You guys do not have to wait 45 minutes to hear our decision. It's a complete and utter lockup, every second of it. We spent an hour and a half bitching about The Gray Man and why it was basically a failed spy film that was kind of just like every cliche in the book, unbelievably predictable, no originality. And this film's the complete opposite of that. Full stop.
Yeah, I think it's basically, it's a blend. It has, a lot of Tarantino in it. It has some Martin McDonagh in it. It reminded me a lot of In Bruges in terms of the banter, the dialogue, which is a great movie. It had some Edgar Wright in it.
Absolutely.
Like Baby Driver.
Lots of physical comedy, not just with the actors, but with the use of the frame and the edits.
It also had some like early 2010s kind of just comedy feels to it. It did remind me of 21 Jump Street in terms of some of the comedy, which I love.
You mentioned a little Wes Anderson, too.
There's a tad bit of Wes Anderson in here in terms of, you and I were talking about downstairs, the physical comedy, the slapstick comedy, sort of just goofball comedy, like a screwball comedy, I think is what some people would call that.
The director is not afraid at all of packing the frame with actors in the foreground and the background, and using their blocking to create physical jokes at all. Yeah,
and it's really strongly directed. I do wanna look at the script, who wrote the script, because the script is really fucking solid. There's a lot of plot in here that you and I were like brushing over before we hopped on here.
Wicked fast.
A lot of plot. So I think in order to fully understand the plot, we'd have to see it twice. And most people will probably have that experience. But it's understandable. Yeah. It's accomplishing a lot, but that doesn't mean it being that plotty does not take away from character development. It's really focused on character, which I think is what really brings the film home and makes it successful.
Not only that, watching The Gray Man, throughout the entire film, the writer shoves so much dialogue-heavy exposition into the mouth of the characters in order to keep the audience on track. So you could, hold on, let's swap over real quick.
Cool. And we'll be we're gonna keep talking about Bullet Train. We'll be right back with Movie Addicts podcast. We're taking a little break and breakaroo, and we'll be right back.
Okay, we're back.
And we're back with the Movie Addicts podcast. So what were you saying, Gabe?
Okay, so I was going on about the use of exposition. You were talking about the plot, whether it's hard to keep up with. I was saying in The Gray Man, again, as a comparison, I'll probably keep going back to that because they came out in a similar time frame, and they both are like people involved in crime and spies.
There are parallels to be drawn between Gray Man and this.
So in Gray Man, the writer just can't help themselves to just constantly treat the audience like a bunch of idiots and reminding them unnecessary details to keep the audience on track of what's happening in the plot. And the amazing thing about this film is in some ways the director does the same exact thing, except it's all visual. There were so many great moments, no dialogue needed at all. Literally two characters have a revelation on the spot of who are you, why are you here, why are you trying to kill me? And then suddenly the camera would pull out side of the train, push into another person, cue to the audience something that's important on the train, pull back out, push right back into another part of the train, and without even saying a single line, it had a very fun kind of comic book feel, which I guess, thinking on now, it's not just Edgar Wright because we like Baby Driver, it's also kind of Edgar Wright because of Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
The film has a lot of fun with motion graphics and great
absolutely.
It's not just lighting design, but it's graphic design, hitting the screen and introducing characters like their comic book characters. It's really cool. It's very, I don't want to say it's original, but it feels fresh. It feels really fresh in the style that's proposed.
Yeah. It's really, really fresh, and I think so I pulled up the writers. The screenplay is by Zach Olkowitz. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And again, based on the book by Kotaro Osaka. So it's David Leitch directing off of someone else's script.
Okay.
Which is really interesting. Makes sense to me, to be honest, because based on the credits you listed off of his previous credits, it didn't sound like he was a writer-director per se. It sounded like he was a director who directs other people's scripts, which is awesome and totally cool with me. You know what I mean? Obviously, I lean more like writer-directory, but like
for sure.
And I think it's just becoming more on. It's becoming a little more in the film space. It's becoming a little more uncommon for directors to do that, to just straight up write. Like, he doesn't have any writing credit in there. So it's becoming more uncommon for directors to in film to direct off of just completely someone else's script that they did not pen at all. That's becoming just more uncommon in the film space. But Zach Olkowitz, like WICZ.
Yes, right.
Did you pull him up?
No, just before I pulled up David Leitch just for reference. As a director, he does do a lot of action films. He directed Deadpool 2, Fast and Furious, Atomic Blonde,
which I haven't seen Atomic Blonde.
And he also produced John Wick. He was a producer on John Wick. So this guy is no stranger to the action genre.
Totally.
And then let me pull up the writer real quick, see what else he has been up to. Writers, Zach Olkowitz. Interesting. Zach looks like he worked with Netflix on Fear Street. And the screenplay specifically for Part 2, 1978. And he helped co-produce on Lights Out, 2016's Lights Out.
It's a horror film, I believe.
It is. I'm not familiar with it, but yeah. So, hey, I mean, to go from Lights Out, which is a co-producer credit, to screenplay and story by with Netflix on Fear Street Part 2, and now he's on Bullet Train.
Yeah.
As like a co-writer.
Not a co-writer, like the writer.
Well, doesn't he have the other gentleman who's also on it?
Yeah, but that's the guy who wrote the novel.
Oh, so Zach helped adapt it, and Kotaro
adapted
Asaka
it,
probably.
And I think Zach did a killer job putting this into screenplay form. You can tell that David Leitch. I think there's like with some films now, it feels like there's, Gray Man, for instance, feels like there's an irreverence for the screenplay a little bit. Like, that's what Gray Man sort of reeked of to me, is like a little bit of an irreverence for story and what a script is supposed to do for the movie, which is be the foundation that everyone, leans on.
I think irreverence is a great word, because when you think of reverence, you think of...
I think it is the right word, yeah.
Yeah, I think in some ways you think of, like, for whatever God means to the audience, like, or to our viewers, you guys out there, the idea that, like, if, God is the foundation and you're irreverent and you go against that, story is the foundation of all mediums, whether it's a book, it's a play, even poetry, or...
it can even be the foundation of music,
Absolutely, thank you. And so in the case of, we'll say, the art of cinema, the Gray Man really feels like it's breaking the cardinal sin of disrespecting story by a very weak script. And not only really a weak script, a arguably intentionally weak script.
Yeah. And I think I said this to you. You and I went to like Shake Shack.
Yo.
Oh wait, shout out to the. So we went to Shake Shack after the movie. We're at the Century City Mall, and anyone who lives in LA who's been to the Century City Mall, there's like an epidemic in the Century City Mall of like spoiled 12-year-old boys just running around. It is. Here's what I will say. I understand the psychology of 12-year-old. Privileged 12-year-old boys all too well. So I saw them. I had them. They came into our movie. I almost lost it because they came into the movie, like our movie. They came into our theater like screaming and stuff. And I was like, I understand 12-year-old, like this kind of 12-year-old boy. Like if I just don't pay attention to their antics, they will leave. And they did. And then we're in Shake Shack, and it was like, God was trying to fuck with us, and he was like, they're coming back. You want to eat your hot dog? You want to have a little hamburger? The 12-year-old boys are going to come back. And they were like yelling like penis at the loudest volume. Like the classic. What I will say is what I did love, and I didn't pay them any mind because I knew they would leave eventually, and they did, What I love, though, is that the classic middle school 12-year-old boy games, some of them have stuck around. Yelling penis, seeing who can yell penis the loudest is a classic. I did that in middle school, admittedly.
I've done it a few times.
Everyone's done it. But to see that has held up through the years, that's pretty great. That one, I shed a tear for that.
Still wanted to
but I also
dump the
shed a
hot
tear
dogs
for
on the
my
floor.
sanity with them yelling while I was trying to eat a hot dog. Great hot dogs, by the way. Shout out to Shake Shack hot dogs. Great.
Fantastic.
Like
Definitely
the best,
tasted-
one of the best hot dogs I've ever had.
The fact that you guys give me a choice of cheese or no cheese, already 10 times better.
The bun is incredible.
Absolutely.
The hot dog is crispy.
We had a
it's
nice-
it's how I like it. I don't like boiled. No, put it on the flat top.
I like
Get
boiled.
that thing.
I like boiled.
Get that thing smoking
I'll
hot.
microwave a hot dog.
That's disgusting.
I'll eat hot dogs raw because that's okay.
Okay.
I'm losing Dale over here. The beer was great too. We had a Honey Crisp like wheat beer or something.
Yeah, delicious beer.
Absolutely delicious.
Oh man, it was nice.
Cheers.
We had a great cheers, buddy. Dude, it was just
Hell
great.
yeah.
I was hanging out with my friend. We're watching a great movie.
One of our other friends rolled up, Alex.
Al,
Shout out to Al.
Shout out to Al. Wait, he's been on this podcast.
Yeah, 3 episodes.
I
He
just
came in
had,
on
like,
Elvis, I think, right?
Yeah, he came on like episode 2 or something. Al popped up.
Yeah.
Al was. We were hanging out with. We had a great hot dog. We had like half of that cheeseburger, man. We had a little beer. Talking about the movie, it was a great time. It was just, it restored. But what I was gonna say,
Almost went to jail.
you did because you wanted to slap the 12-year-olds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's it's fucked up. It's not good. Century City Mall. That is the one. It's a great mall. It's a really good mall, but that is a downside. Like, whoever these parents are who are just letting their kids, because they're there. That's the other fucked up thing is the parents are around, but they're like, oh, yeah, just go do whatever you want. We'll go to, like, Zara. And then, next thing you know, I'm sitting in Shake Shack, as are, like, 10 other people, and your children are, like, yelling penis really loud, like, while I'm trying to eat a hot dog.
We'll get them back.
We'll get them. That's not what I thought you were going to say, but we'll get them back, though. We'll get them. But parents, Century City Mall parents, keep your kids on a little bit of a tighter leash. Come on.
No, literally put them on a leash.
Yeah. This isn't the 60s. This isn't the 70s. This isn't let your kids run.
Nope.
We're now in the age of like it's the merits of this are debatable, but we're in a little bit of a helicopter parenting era, but I can tell that we're now kind of heading out of one, and certain things are flying out the window, like caring about your kids.
Or teaching
yelling
your
penis in a public restaurant.
Your characters, teaching your children like basic human
manners
decency.
and manners and not acting like assholes.
Like if
that
you want
too.
to treat your kids like
That
gremlins, then that's great. Why don't you just go live in the desert in a cave? Does that sound good?
Some of these parents need to. If you're listening to this, you're one of these Century City parents. I'm not gonna mince words with you here. Get your shit together. Get these kids on a tighter leash because they almost ruined Bullet Train for me.
Oh, absolutely.
I missed like a full scene because of these kids, by the way. And I only realized it afterwards, and I got really annoyed after they left.
If they were next to me, I probably would have came this close to sticking my hand in their entire bag of popcorn and then just fling into the theater.
They literally they leaned over to me. They go, "Hey, man, what movie is this?" I was like, "Bullet Train," and they're like, "We're not supposed to be here.
We snuck in here."
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, cool, guys." Turned back to the screen. They left like 2 minutes later.
Before going.
By the way, I protected my. I don't know if you saw this. I protected
PCs?
my belongings. No, my belongings,
Oh.
my wallet and keys were kind of over by them where they sat down, and I was like, if any two middle schoolers would steal my shit, it'd be these two.
Yeah.
Oh man, and I was like, I'm these two like spoiled 12-year-olds. I'm like, if two spoiled 12-year-olds steal my fucking wallet and my phone, I'm gonna like there's gonna be hell to pay.
Somebody will.
Like, I will show up it'll be like the Big Lebowski, like where he goes to he confronts the kid about the homework.
Go on.
It's like I'll be like the Big Lebowski and John Goodman. I'm forgetting his character's name in the movie, but I'll literally show up to this kid's house and like be like, "Where's your parents?" Like,
Shout out to John Goodman.
like, "Where's your parents?" I'm talking to them about this. I'm talking to them about and give me my fucking wallet and my phone. Like, you're not getting away with this. That will be me. That would literally be me on a Monday night at
shout out to Westfield Mall, Century City. Yeah.
Westfield, Century City.
If you want to sponsor this podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole mall. That'd be great.
Imagine we got the whole attic to the whole mall.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
That'd be great.
Too much space.
So I derailed. What I was gonna say is that this movie sort of had restored my faith in big studio releases a little bit, because Sony clearly gave David Leitch and Zach. Oh my God, I forgot that Olkowitz. Fuck. I'm just gonna call him Zach. Sorry, Zach.
I like Zach here.
So David and Zach, it clearly gave David and Zach a pretty a lot of latitude creatively. Clearly they did. But they also, Sony clearly also wasn't gonna greenlight a dog shit script. You know, at least that's the way I'm receiving the release.
I feel like Sony has greenlit tons of dog shit scripts. I don't know how this one got through.
They've also, like, think about it. Sony has put out some good shit of late.
Sony has done great things in general. Yeah. The only reason I'm like being a little bit prickly is because when I think Sony, I usually think Spider-Man. And
the new Spider-Man movie slaps.
Shout out to Sam Raimi, who kept it together through Spider-Man 3 circa like 2008 or 9.
Sony, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't. That was a big fat part. Well, I guess that was technically TriStar. It was Sony too.
That's the thing, because Sony's only gotten really big in movies in the last 10 years. Am I tripping?
20, but yeah.
Okay, I was way off. Sorry.
I'd say, right?
I wish yeah.
But point is like, I can't help but be so disappointed in Spider-Man 3, Tobey Maguire, and so it's just leaving me a little bit down. But Bullet Train, point is.
Yeah, but what about the new Spider-Man?
They're great.
Yeah, they're good.
But they let me down 15 years ago.
Okay, so you're not letting that go.
Never.
I've never seen Spider-Man 3.
Good for you.
1 and 2 for me, and then I
honestly,
dipped.
Alfred Molina.
Is it a little bit like?
Cannot get better than Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, great actor.
Doc Ock. Oh my
great
goodness.
Actor.
The best.
Great actor. Yeah, man. Sony, I think, has a lot of integrity these days with their releases, and I think this is just another testament to that.
We're telling you right now, do not listen to the people. Bullet Train.
If someone tells you this movie sucks, I think they're just wrong.
They are
because it has.
They're getting on the hater train or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I don't know why someone who's telling you this movie is bad, I think probably has an agenda. Any litany of agendas that they're trying to espouse. I think people, if you love movies, you'll love this movie.
Because it's a movie.
Because it's playing on literally everything. It's an actual movie, and we wanted to talk about Gray Man in that way.
Yeah, break that down.
We were trying to come up with a term for what Gray Man is, because it's not a movie.
It's not.
It's like a we were literally Gabe and I were walking down the sidewalk at like 10 p.m. and trying to figure out like what can
Dale
we call
proposed
it?
This theory the other day, which he said is reinforced or self-evident based on an article he read regarding how certain films are written and produced under streaming platforms. Films that do not require their survival by box office ticket sales, but simply by maintaining or not maintaining the audience's attention at home. Break that down.
Yeah, so basically my theory was Gray Man is designed intentionally to be viewed while you're distracted. So it's intentionally meant to be watched while you're looking at your phone, your laptop, your desktop, your fucking whatever device, it's not meant to be viewed with any. It's not meant to be viewed under any sort of through any sort of exacting lens. It's not meant to be really held up to much scrutiny. It's meant to be like the movie's on, and I'm going like this, and I do that for 5 minutes. I look up, and I still know what the fuck's going on. That's literally what Gray Man is, and we're gonna have to come up with a term. We're gonna have to come up with a term for it because it feels new. That phenomena feels new to me.
Again, new because this phenomena cannot happen with films that are sold in the theater
theatrically. And I think Sam kind of pointed that out, and he's
going to the theater is an event. Going to the theater requires your attention.
Yeah, and so they gotta go hard.
Before every film at the theater, what do they tell you to do?
Silence your phones.
Turn off your phone. Can they do that at home? No. Do they need to? No.
Right.
So
they're never going to.
When they spend $100 million plus on a film just for the actors, just to get and on marketing, on a streaming, it's different. It's a different financial model.
It's a completely different financial model, and I think it's interesting, man, because it's studios. I think it can be a good thing on one side of the coin, because I think studios are realizing, and Bullet Train feels like evidence of this, like, oh shit, we got to go hard with whatever our slate of releases this year ends up being. Like, our slate of releases is probably going to be smaller than it was last year and the year before that. Mm-hmm. So we got to go hard with whatever it is we're putting out. It better be fucking solid.
Yes.
And that's what Bullet Train feels like. It feels like they're really the whole cast, the crew, the writer and director are showing up and they're going to work. Like, we're not going to half-ass any aspect of this. Nothing feels thin. Nothing feels half-assed. Nothing feels phoned in. It's every actor showing up and doing their fucking job.
Yes.
It's pretty inspiring shit, because you go, oh shit, like, this is consummate professionalism.
Yes.
You're reminded of what, like, consummate professionalism can be in this art form and in this industry and in this business. Like that's inspiring, right? Like, seeing all these actors. And there's some actors who make some epic cameos: Channing Tatum, Sandra Bullock, Ryan Reynolds. Who was the other? We kind of mentioned the cameos.
Michael Shannon.
Thank you.
Michael Shannon. Lord help me.
Shannon's is more than a cameo. Channing Tatum's literally is a cameo.
Who else? I think there's one more. We'll figure it out.
Fuck.
Everybody has a beginning, middle, and end for the most part.
Every character.
My opinion.
Literally every character. I mean, this movie is going to, like, excruciating lengths to develop its characters, to make you empathize with them, because they're all deeply flawed.
I sneezed something to the characters.
To make you care about them, identify with them, and empathize with them. And you really do. I mean, also this movie had me emotional.
Yeah.
I cried at one point. Mm-hmm. I cried when what was it? Who dies first? Aaron Taylor Johnson or Brian Henry?
Brian Henry dies first.
Yes, that's right. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is mourning the loss of
his brother.
And you there's a whole running joke is Brian Tyree Henry is black, Aaron Taylor Johnson's a white guy. Everyone calls these guys Lemon and Tangerine twins. They call them twins. They're referred to as twins. And Brad Pitt goes, makes a sort of a flippant joke. Like, I don't think they're twins. Like, it's a black guy and a white guy.
Yeah.
And it's revealed later in the film that they are actually brothers.
Yeah.
And I suppose they are actually twins, right? There's probably,
whether or not they're brothers, it's clear that they
grew up together.
They lived maybe in a foster home since
something
4 or 5 years old.
And it's I was like,
the director did a super smart thing.
Yeah.
This film moves a mile a minute. The edits,
very fast.
Lot of them can be very fast, although he does
still a pretty long run time, still 2 hours 17 minutes, something like that.
The film moves a mile a minute. I don't think the cuts are exhausting in the way like a Baz Luhrmann film would be cut. Like, I don't think it's intentionally like that.
Yeah.
But it does pack in a lot of shots and frames. But the point is, the film is moving, and then like the brothers come in and they have fantastic chemistry. The dialogue's fantastic. The shots are really like going back and forth.
To underline, their chemistry is awesome. Brian Tyree Henry has great chemistry with Aaron Taylor Johnson.
They are
really
so
strong,
much fun.
Really strong.
And so the film is, like Dale said, picking up steam. And a point of contention comes where they have to solve a problem and they have to go 2 separate ways. And so it's basically, the age-old, I'll go this way, you go this way.
Yeah.
And right before they're about to part, there's a weird moment that you never sensed at all in the film until this moment, where the director holds the frame long enough that you're like, oh,
They really care about each other.
There's a true intimacy between these
really care
two
about
men.
Yeah.
And it's like, for me, it almost made the hair stand up on the back of my neck because I'm like, I need to pay attention.
Because you sort of think they might just be business associates.
Yeah.
Business partners, whatever it is.
And from a meta point, you might just think they're placeholders, like they're going to get killed off real quick or something.
And then you get and then that moment, yeah, you're right. David Leitch kind of holds on that moment, and you go, oh, shit, they really care about each other. Like, that was really genuine. And then it keeps unraveling to the point where you realize, one, they are actual brothers, whether that's in the biological sense or in sort of just a more practical sense. They were raised together. And it's just so beautiful. And it's Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry's chemistry together. It makes you care. The writing makes you care. The directing makes you care. And when Brian Henry dies, or you think he dies, I was really emotional. I was really devastated.
Oh.
And then you're so relieved that he actually ends up living.
Yes.
But then you're also devastated
because he's gonna wake up
because Aaron Taylor Johnson. Yeah, he's gonna wake up and find out that his brother is dead now. And it's just, man, it's
also that moment where
it really takes you on an emotional journey. It's wonderful.
Also, because we're talking about the actors and different stuff, shout out to Joey King.
She was
the
great.
young lady who played the prince.
She's awesome.
She did an awesome
really
job in the film. Super duper inspiring.
Very good.
Totally held up her end. She, truthfully, is very much the antagonist of the film until we find out.
Right, she's really not at the end.
Right, until we find out about another antagonist. The film has they just do a great job creating like a lot of characters who are in like morally gray areas.
Oh, and I wanted to
but she's not morally gray at all. Like her intentions throughout the entire film are selfish and undermining of everyone. But
when Michael Shannon is revealed to be her father, and you realize how the guy that Michael Shannon truly is, then you empathize with her because even then, you realize that she had a narcissistic father who she was under his thumb for her entire life, and all she wants is to be loved by him, and he cannot love her.
Yeah,
he's incapable of it because this is why you said, wait, why narcissistic? I think he is. I think that's not like those two characters are the two characters. Michael Shannon's character, the White Death, and her Prince, her character, are the two characters you can kind of most easily label in a certain way because he is really the narcissistic patriarch.
Okay.
And she is the borderline personality daughter of the narcissistic patriarch. Like she stems from the narcissistic patriarch, and she's under his thumb. But it makes you empathize when you realize that she is human too, and she wants to be loved and appreciated by her father, and her father cannot give her that, and you actually see that on screen.
Yeah.
It's showing, not telling. You see that he says, I do see you. He says to her, I do see you. I have always seen you, but you were never part of my plan. It's like, oh, fuck. And you see that affects her in a real way.
They literally have one scene in the entire film. And it's a great fucking scene.
It's a killer scene.
Yes, and it very much completes
It's two really good actors locking in for a great scene. It's really wonderful. Yeah.
Guys, you got to watch this film.
The movie kicks ass. And
But, okay, hold on, though. Because, so I was saying they were morally gray except these two. You're right. Fine. Joey King has a lot of reason to sympathize and empathize for her.
Yeah.
Do you think Michael Sheen's character, the White Death, Shannon? Why do I keep saying Michael Sheen? Michael Shannon.
You're thinking of like Charlie Sheen or something.
No, I'm not. I don't want to think about Shannon.
Two great actors.
No. Two great actors. Michael Shannon, who's also fantastic. Love him. Michael Shannon, a lot of what he did was because of the loss of his wife.
Yes, so you also empathize with him.
The loss of his wife.
Yes.
This guy has murdered countless people. He's the head of.
But I want to circle back to that because it's more complicated. Okay. I read it.
He's the head of one of the largest crime organizations in the world, let alone between Russia and Japan, let alone Japan. And his wife dies because of multiple assassins, all kind of getting wrapped up unbeknownst to one another. And he chooses to place them all on the same train to eliminate them because ultimately, for better or for worse, purposely or not purposely, he wants them gone because their actions led to his wife's death.
And this is, but also like that's what makes him a narcissist.
Go on.
Is the extent to which he will manipulate variables in his favor, and maybe that's also like sociopathic. Not to be like pop psychologist here,
Sure.
but like,
Phil,
I would say he's a narcissist because I think he's so wrapped up in. He only has the capacity to like truly love one other person. It seems like, which is his wife, which could be a reflection that, like his inability. What I mean is the bottom line is his inability to love his daughter. It's like, and it's a real inability. He really can't. Is that to me is the evidence of narcissism, and I think. Anyway, it's again not to like delve so far into like pop psychology.
I want to point out something on this note regarding the death of his wife and how he felt that he could put all these machinations into place,
which he does,
create an outcome, and get everybody killed, which in many ways he succeeds at.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched on yet the central theme of the film. Fate. This film is such a beautiful, electric, hilarious, heartbreaking, fast-paced analysis of fate. Are we controlled by predestination, or do we have choices within that? And not only that,
predestination. Another word for predestination being bad luck or good luck.
Yeah, well,
another two terms.
But also control over our own lives. Yeah. Exactly.
But I'm saying like there's such a motif of bad luck,
and good luck. Yeah, exactly. And it's I don't know. There's so many things to talk to that. Oh, let's swap it out.
So we're gonna keep talking about them when we come back on the Movie Addicts podcast. Don't go anywhere. Go absolutely nowhere. We'll be right back with the Movie Addicts podcast.
And camera speeding. You got some nice natural light on you, Dave.
Oh, really nice. And we're back with the Movie Addicts podcast. Gabe, you were making a point. You were going for a big swing here.
Big swing, baby. Big swing.
Big swing with a point here.
Only big swings.
We only take big swings on the Movie Addicts podcast. That's a fact.
Absolutely. Anything less than a big swing, we're not doing any pinch hitters here. You can sit on the
bench. Yeah. You can literally sit on one of the benches we have in the attic, too. You know what I mean? If you're going to come on camera here on the Movie Addicts podcast, take big swings.
Every day, all day.
Or we will boot you out.
We will boot you.
You will no longer be one of the attic people.
We'll let you go.
In order to be one of the attic people, you can't come on here scared.
True.
Pulling your punches. No, come on here swinging.
We're going to let you ride the Peloton for a little bit.
You're going to have to ride the Peloton. That's part of the kind of the initiation ritual, et cetera, whatever.
Don't be afraid. Attic boys and attic girls.
All right. But
big swings all day.
On the Movie Addicts podcast, it's only big swings. It's Babe Ruth level swings. It's Hank Aaron level swings.
Hell yeah.
To use a couple baseball references.
We talked about David Ortiz the other day, didn't we?
Love David Ortiz. One of my
what was he known
childhood
for?
Heroes. He's a Red Sox designated hitter.
A designated hitter.
Yeah, he was just a guy hit. I mean, I don't even know how many home runs while he played for the Sox. Played for the Sox for most of his career. He's my second favorite childhood baseball player hero to Manny Ramirez, who I've mentioned to you before. Manny Ramirez was legendary. Not as like prolific and great a player, obviously, technically as Ortiz, because Manny Ramirez had didn't have like the personal discipline that Ortiz had. You know, he did like a lot of silly things, and his career kind of fizzled out. He did play Manny Ramirez played for the Dodgers for some amount of time. Anyway, these are all like shout out to the Dodgers and for all the Dodger fans watching the pod.
Swings, baby.
Manny Ramirez did play for the Dodgers at one point.
Yeah,
I forget when. Anyway,
so I want to I think we're coming to a point talking about so many fun, sporadic, different things that we loved about the film. A central theme, something that ties all the characters together, something that the film really wants the audience to walk away thinking about is fate. I don't know. What can we say about that?
Yeah, I mean it's so interwoven into this is what makes this script so good is it's baked
timely
into everything in the script.
Yes.
Which is great screenwriting. Is if you're going to make a movie about a thing, bake it all in there, you know what I mean? Like, and this movie is all about fate. It's fate that they're all on this train together, right? So it's fate in the premise. What else? Like that's a huge part of it. It's also fate, like every kind of like down to it's interesting. It almost explores like the both sides of the coin with fate, because there's a lot of like love lost in the backstory, and like a lot of people think, you know, when they find the person they're in love with and they're going to spend the rest of their life with, which happens to the wolf, for instance, that's fate. But then it might also be fate to have what you thought was fate in a good sense, to have that fate dashed with something tragic, which happens to the wolf, and he's so infuriated that he, you know, it's fate for him to meet Brad Pitt in the entrance to the train, and then also to meet his death there. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? That is all, like, that's just one sequence of the film that all thematically ties into the theme of fate.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the movie's doing this. The script is really operating on a really high fucking level. It's just great. It's great technique. It's great screenwriting. It's
operating on a high level right off the bat. That's part of the reason we walked out of Nope and we're like cock up. And by the time we got to the podcast,
because Jordan Peele's doing something a little different with Nope. To be fair, are you trying to draw like a comparison?
What I'm saying is that Nope, I think it's easy to walk out of the film and be a little bit confused and disappointed in the genre subversion and expectations. But there's so much craft. And there's so much
dedication
love,
to theme as well.
Absolutely. That for me, I'm like, you really need to. A friend of mine in college, he quoted somebody. What was it? It was I think it was a German
if you
novelist.
Hear the helicopter, we have helicopters fly over our house all the time. It's so annoying. Anyway,
German. I'm gonna have to look up the quote. A German novelist, but the novelist said something to the effect of. I'm going to butcher the heck out of this, but it was something to the effect of only complete effort is, I guess only complete effort is like really best or reinforced. I know it sounds like silly, and I'll have to find something that sounds less contrived, but the point is...
I get the essence of it.
The essence is don't half-ass things. Gray Man, there's no ass. It's the flattest ass you'll ever see. Non-existent. Terrible. Like my ass. I could stand up for you guys.
Unlike my ass, huge, voluptuous.
Massive.
Huge.
Absolutely. He had to put it in the pants today to contain it. But the point
Gabe,
is...
you're getting at something really... Keep going.
So when it comes to Nope, and now we'll talk about... Oh, interesting. Just even going back to Elvis a couple weeks back, Elvis was trying really hard to push on certain themes.
And it didn't totally
For me,
get
it
there.
misstepped, but without trying at least. It was not without
not
effort.
for lack of trying.
It was not for lack of trying.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
So with Bullet Train, man, like we're talking about fate. This film also revolves around a lot about like love towards others and love towards yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Which Brad Pitt's character explores in sort of a cornball way.
For sure.
Which I have to say all that stuff, like all that. Brad Pitt is basically this guy who's, you know, made a career killing people, and he's trying to turn things around by basically going to therapy, and he's like clearly has like a spiritual guru and shit. Yeah. And so he's throwing around a lot of catchphrases and stuff
that he learned.
And that felt so man, that could come off to some people. I've met men like that in their 50s who are like, you know, very deeply flawed, and all of a sudden they're like going to therapy for the first time and all these things, and so they're like sorting through a lot of things in a way that can be a little like externally, it can be a little corny.
Sure.
And so that really landed for me because I've met a person or two like that, and so I was like, no, it feels real. Brad Pitt's drawing from something that's real enough.
Yes.
But he's also taking the liberties he needs to take as an artist and as an actor to just like make the movie as good as it can be. You know, okay, he's pulling some stuff from real life, but he's also just being true to the script. Clearly, all that stuff is baked into the script.
For sure.
For me, it was funny and silly, and I really liked it. And it's sort of, it's tied into theme because it's like he's trying to figure out, like he's almost trying to unravel this idea of fate through his like what pieces of new knowledge of self he's attained. But it's also like he's so he's so anyway. I'm sort of losing my
I
point.
don't think you are. I think Dale is starting to uncover another part of the film, which is this guy feels like his entire life bad luck has chased him, and so he goes to therapy to find wholeness. And it brings up an interesting point. We live in a society that is saturated in many ways with therapy culture.
Yes.
In my opinion,
yes,
therapy is still a great thing. If you haven't experienced it,
really
go
important.
try
I go to
it.
therapy.
Sure. I'm not currently in therapy, but I've definitely enjoyed my time, and when I can afford to, somebody give me insurance, please. Then I will definitely jump. SAG. Ever hear the Screen Actors Guild?
Health insurance.
Screen Actors Guild. But that said, the next question begs: when you are completing therapy, or perhaps you've undergone a limited bout of therapy, and then you have to return back into your line of work, return back into your day-to-day.
Yes.
How do you carry that with you?
Yes. So it's, again, Brad Pitt drawing from something real, the script drawing from something real, but it also... I lost my point. It's...
Therapy, fate.
It's drawing from something real and authentic, but it's also making fun of the silly parts of that.
Yeah.
And the very human, fallible aspects of that real conflict, which is okay, I'm learning things that I didn't know before, but, how do I bring them into my, very, insane life of trying to, kill people I'm contracted to kill and yeah, so it's again, I keep saying both sides of the coin, but the movie's giving you both sides of the coin because it's very silly. I found myself chuckling kind of during a lot of Brad Pitt's sort of there's this wall between us, and in the wall there's a window, and that stuff's silly, but it's also you do empathize with a character who's trying to get better.
Well, the amazing thing is, any other film, it would be an actor saying a line that the writer's trying to get a laugh or a goof from. And Brad Pitt, being Brad Pitt, always found a way to really make the line sound like the character is not only saying it because he's instructed to, not only saying it because he thinks the other character needs to hear it, he's kind of saying it because anybody who's in therapy has to keep telling themselves, this is going to work. Yeah. This is going to work.
Yeah, Brad Pitt's obviously doing his fucking homework as an actor.
It's really
and still still maintaining the essence that this is a dark comedy.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I wanted to tackle in this movie was, because there's so many, the movie's fucking great. There's so many things, we can go on and fucking on. I thought tone in this was just,
consistent and hilarious.
Executed so well. It is really, it is really a dark comedy. It's a dark comedy. It's a dark action comedy. I don't know if I've ever seen a dark action comedy, but I was like, this is definitely a dark comedy, right?
Yeah. You gotta watch Deadpool. So many films
will try to say they're dark comedies, and you're watching, that's not a dark comedy, because it's this is just dark and there's no comedy. Yeah. This is really a dark comedy, and that's why it reminded me of Martin McDonagh.
Yeah,
because Martin McDonagh is the king of dark comedy to me.
Right.
The modern king of dark comedy.
Yes.
And so I'm like, this is a dark comedy that's also an action movie. So a dark action comedy, whatever you want to call it. Sorry, I feel like you were going to make a point.
Like, the amount of times that somebody dies in the film, but, they don't just die and then everyone moves on. It's they're struggling during their death.
Yeah.
It's kind of ruthless. And Brad Pitt has just, such an earnest desire to, band-aid
Well, that's like Zazie Beetz, who plays the Hornet, and she gets killed. Brad Pitt's you need anything? She's dying because she got, her own poison, her own snake poison. We got to talk about the snake, too.
Oh, my goodness.
So, there's so many things to talk about with this, but she's dying and really suffering. She's, bleeding out of her eyes, throwing up blood, all this stuff. And Brad Pitt's you need a water, you need anything. And,
I wonder.
And that's a very funny. People in the theater were really laughing at that scene because it is funny, but it's extremely dark.
It is, yes.
That's what makes it a dark comedy.
I wonder if, and again, I think this is more craft. I could just be projecting analysis onto the film. But again, the film is based off a book, and I can only imagine the writer put so much effort, depending on what, of course, they adapted to screen. The snake, right? I don't know if I have to burp or...
Throw up the hot dog from 2 days ago.
Something's going on 2 days ago.
It's like Glenn Howerton and It's Always Sunny.
Always, man.
Oh, we gotta take these shots, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I love It's Always Sunny.
So,
anyway.
No, but it makes me think. We're talking about fate.
Comment in the comment section if you think Gabe looks like Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny. I think he does. Show the people real quick. Just like look at the camera. Just comment whether you think he does or not. If you watch this
Tell
far.
me if any of the implications make look like Glenn Howerton.
Only people who have seen It's Always Sunny would get that reference.
So what I'm getting at, though, is regarding, like, craft that goes into the story and, like, little teeny ways to just reinforce. Of course, one of the assassins uses snake venom to kill their victims. Why? Because when you administer snake venom, there's one of two things that will happen.
Yeah.
Either, one, you may die in a unknown amount of time.
Yeah.
Or you may escape death.
Yeah.
In terms of fate.
Yeah.
And you can cheat death. Like, if you get stabbed or shot by an assassin, you're done. You're not cheating that shit. But the interesting thing about killing somebody with snake venom...
The antidote or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really like that little detail is kind of brilliant. Because, again, are you going to cheat fate? Or are you not? And in this case, Brad did.
Brad cheats it, and she doesn't.
She's out of luck. Why? Why don't you have a second antidote?
Yeah,
Why don't you have another anti-venom?
What makes it that's a dark comedy. That moment where he's like, wait, you don't have a second antidote? Like, I took the antidote, but you don't have a second one?
The fact that he was fast enough
now
to
you're going to die. That's
right
dark comedy, right?
Yeah.
And I think people, where it really is comedy, but it's dark as shit. A dark situation with a comedic tone. And I think this movie nails tone so fucking well in a way that I haven't seen a movie nail tone this well in a while. Like new movie.
Yeah.
This is, I mean,
nice and
this
fresh.
thing really pins. It really wrestles with tone and wins.
Yeah.
And because that's one of the hardest jobs a director has is to navigate tone, manage tone. You know, it really is one of the director's hardest jobs, and.
You know what?
Yeah.
Can I say something real quick?
It does it so well.
I know I keep bouncing around. I'm like just more and more is coming to my head about like the theme of fate and how it really is weaved throughout every moment. Two more moments in the film kind of remind me. Well, one more like overarching plot point and then specific moment. Nobody in this film thinks they're gonna die. They're all the best of the best assassins.
Really confident. Yeah.
And so when they die, it comes as a surprise to them,
which I thought was very well set up, and not in an too overt way, but like it's all set up that like no, they think they're gonna get out of this.
Yeah,
and just like
for
it'll
sure.
all be
Everybody
good, and this is just another job, and we'll get to the end of the tracks, it'll be all good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's not how it goes down at all. But again, that makes it, like you're saying, Gabe, that makes it more dramatic. That makes it more emotionally compelling. Mm-hmm. You go, oh shit! This person really didn't think they were gonna die, and now they're sort of really suffering and dying in a horrible way.
Yeah,
which is the dark part.
Mm-hmm. The dark, sure.
The dark before the comedy.
Mm-hmm. But I love that.
During the comedy.
I love that a film can take something so profound as fate and make some moments that are as irreversible as death, and tie them together with comedy and action, and because this is what I'm getting at. The reviews are killing this film right now, and they're completely.
I mean, think about it. IMDb 7.5 out of 10. That's pretty solid.
That's the highest it's gotten online, though.
Yeah.
Because
3.7. So 3.7. No, 3.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd is still lower when you multiply it by 2. It's lower than 7.5. That puts it at 7.2 out of 10.
And Rotten Tomatoes, I think, put it at a 53.
Which, by the way, Rotten Tomatoes, you can go fuck yourself.
Please.
Rotten Tomatoes is the most bogus site.
There's the door
of all time.
You can
Rotten Tomatoes, you fucking suck. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Because it's just Rotten Tomatoes is so misleading, and people give it so much credence.
They give it too much credence, way too
Rotten Tomatoes
much.
Sucks.
Honestly, I don't.
Letterboxd is a pretty good barometer. I think.
Never watch reviews before I see a movie, and if I do, I feel like I made a mistake.
I never look at them before I go. No.
Can't.
I mean, if I'm looking at them after, Letterboxd gives a decent barometer because it's usually people who are
they actually care
passionate
enough to
about
say something.
Watching movies.
Right.
Some of the people on Letterboxd are still like playing identity politics or trying to espouse some sort of agenda, and which gets annoying.
For sure.
But Letterboxd is a decent barometer. IMDb is a decent barometer. The Google reviews seems like kind of bogus to me too.
You know what's a good barometer?
So I don't know how much I trust the Google ratings system. It seems kind of like it's easily corruptible, and yeah. But anyway, go on.
I was going to say, good barometer is likes and subscriptions on the Movie Addicts channel.
Yeah, so...
I think if anybody's watching this, you should probably give us as many thumbs up as possible.
Give us a thumb... Honestly, I'd rather have you give us a thumbs down than nothing at all.
Oh, yes.
Because whenever I see someone giving me a thumbs down, I'm like, you know what? That means they cared. They were invested.
Yeah.
They were invested enough to think about it and go, no, I don't like that.
Sucks.
So I'd rather have you give me a thumbs down than nothing at all. I would rather have you give me a thumbs up. But if you give me a thumbs down, I see that. You know what? These days, I'm so therapized up that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, baby.
That's not going to affect me the same way it would have 2 years ago. Seeing a little thumbs down gets me a little excited.
I gotta say, when you go in, when you come onto this podcast, and you're wearing those pants, we know you got the confidence.
Yeah, goddamn right. When I go out on the town in Los Angeles, if you see me out on the town, all you LA people, and I got these pants on, I got my black boots on, you know it's going down.
Absolutely.
You know Colin Dale's feeling good. He had a workout that day.
When he's got the hair half up, half
down.
The
hair's, oh man, the hair's out.
Don't mess.
Jeez Louise. That means I'm having a good day.
Yeah.
If you see me in like I don't know what. Something. I don't know what my outfit would be. Am I conscious of the outfits I wear?
Well, you'd probably wear your white glasses. Even though he doesn't need glasses, he'll wear them because he's feeling himself.
I was saying, like, if I'm feeling like shit, what would I wear?
Oh, if you're feeling like shit.
Because on the flip side, because if I'm wearing these and the black boots and, like, a nice shirt or something, that means I'm feeling good.
If Dale's feeling like shit, he hasn't even left bed yet.
Or, no, you know what? You know what it is?
No. I live with this guy. And sometimes this man is awake at, like, 6:45 cranking away at the office of the Peloton.
Yeah.
Other days, going down to eat my food, have a morning.
I'm just like, fuck. Of late, I've been much better at just getting up consistently at the same time. But, yeah, I do have my days where I'm like, God, this day is going to suck.
I'll go down to the kitchen twice, and I'm still like,
Dale?
Bitch?
Yeah.
Bitch, you back there?
I heard you last night, dude. Like, I heard you. I'm in my bed, and I was like, dude, I was sweating, like, so much in bed. Because the temp last night was bad.
We gotta get you that AC.
Temp last night was not good for sleeping. And I woke up, and I hear, bitch? And then you knocked, and I didn't answer, so you didn't come in.
Yeah, exactly.
But I walked down the hallway, and you had slid, like, 2 pieces of mail under my door.
Right,
and I was like, I thought that was very considerate, though.
Got you, man.
Yeah, you're looking out for my mail, man.
Roomies,
Thank you.
Baby. Roomies.
It's very kind.
That's what we're here for.
Gabe and I really do live together. We really are friends. We're not like two of these podcast hosts where we're not real friends. We don't hang out. We literally hang out all the time.
What was the name of that podcast that, my heart. I don't watch him, but Dale's been kind of heartbroken about it.
Oh yeah, Joe Budden's podcast.
Yeah.
Well, you know what though? There's a silver lining in it, which is that Joe Budden got 2 new co-hosts, who I think he's actually friends with.
Okay.
And so now the Joe Budden podcast is Joe, Ice and Ish, and Ice and Ish I think are Joe's actual like real friends.
Right.
Because I know that like Rory and Mal, who are his old co-hosts, who are awesome. I listened. If you like the new Rory and Mal podcast is really cool. And what's cool is that like I still listen to Joe's podcast, and I now have like a different new podcast that's a completely different show with the new Rory and Mal podcast. And Rory and Mal are like they're friends. Like I would say, but they're not. They always talk about in the pod how they don't like hang out that much outside of it. But what was really devastating was Rory and Mal used to be on Joe's podcast, and they made it. The whole thing kind of blew up, and people who were fans of the pod watched it happen in real time. Where like these guys all of a sudden were like feuding for real, and then the podcast was not a thing anymore as people knew it.
Right.
And Rory and Mal were starting literally weeks later. We're just starting their own podcast.
Well, we got that magic, baby.
Yeah. So friendship comes before the Movie Addicts podcast, but like and subscribe to the Movie Addicts podcast so that we can keep churning out good shit. Anyway, Any
other thoughts on Bullet Train?
Oh man, I have so many. I mean, the snake is so goddamn funny to me. The snake. So wait, what was the snake called? Is the the something snake? This
is so upsetting.
Fuck, we were reading it downstairs.
We were literally. We'll pull it up. It can't hurt to check. Water break. Excuse me. Come on, you fart. It's doing that dumb thing with where it's trying to put a password in, and so it won't let me actually change the. Come on. All right, snake on.
So there's a snake in the movie.
As soon as I see it, I'm going to be so upset.
That's basically, which I thought was fucking hilarious. But basically, this is the other thing I wanted to say about Bullet Train. Every element of this movie is a character in the movie. And the movie sort of is self-aware in that way, where the water bottle becomes a character, like the water bottle that has poison in it, which you'll, if you've seen the movie, you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. That becomes a character. And basically there's this snake that is like at large in Japan, and it was like escaped from like a zoo or a lab or something, and they cut away to this zoologist or scientist or something who's standing beside a news reporter, and there's a news report about like, the snake is at large, it escaped, and you see like the zoologist like, fuck, and I just thought the visual comedy of that was so fucking funny.
He messed up so bad.
And you can just see that he's like this guy is in turmoil because this like really deadly snake is now on the loose. And then the snake gets weaved into the full story, which is really in a really great way. And yeah, so every person and every major element of the story is a character in the story, and the movie presents that in a really self-aware way that I thought was really fun. Another really fun element of this movie that I loved was
anime character.
No, the Thomas the Train Engine component.
Oh, so
with
good.
Brian, which is kind of becomes a part of Brian Tyree Henry's character. And it really is also played for emotion in a way that made me emotional. And it's also, that cultural reference totally hit for me.
Okay.
Like, I grew up on Thomas the Train Engine.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you did.
Not as much, but the
books.
I
totally
did.
Some of the books I totally did, man. The show, the books, like the whole thing. And
Boomslang.
The boomslang snake. That's the snake. It's all good. So it's like it's this very deadly snake, and it happens to be on the train, and that's
great.
Chaos ensues.
Still hit it. Thomas the Train.
Thomas the Train Engine, man. That stuff, like, and the idea that someone might on the train is a diesel, and you have to figure out who it is, because like basically Brian Tyree Henry has a sheet of stickers of all the Thomas the Train Engine characters, and he says, I learned everything. By the way, people. Really great character development. I learned everything I know about people from Thomas the Train Engine, which, by the way, gets paid off later in the reveal that they were Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Henry Lemon and Tangerine were actually brothers. Because what are they doing in that reveal? They're watching TV, and what do you think they're watching? Thomas the Train Engine.
We know they're watching. They're holding a train in his hand.
Because it makes me so emotional. I just love that storyline. I mean, it had me crying and. Just like this, so touching. But I'm getting emotional talking about it. But like, that makes sense because clearly these two guys were raised in a
broken,
at best a working class, sort of a broken home, and what they had was each other. Yeah. Because because they wouldn't be in the line of work that they're in if they. All right, well, I'll finish my point when we come back with the Movie Addicts podcast. And we're back with the Movie Addicts podcast. So, yeah, I mean, clearly these guys wouldn't be in the gruesome line of work that they're in if they weren't sort of...
a little messed up.
Yeah, like raised in sort of an unstable household.
Right.
But the stability they did find in Brian Tyree Henry, he's found stability in a couple things. Thomas the Train Engine and his brother.
Yeah.
And he uses the different characters in Thomas the Train Engine to identify what kinds of people he's interacting with and who he can trust and who he can't. And which is really also like great writing. It's just it's a great device. It totally works for character development. And so it also is used for comedy.
Yes.
Because it's like he keeps trying to figure out, are you a diesel? Are you a diesel? And for me, I thought that was so funny. And it makes me, it's something that I took away from the film that like I will probably keep saying like in my, just like casually is like, oh, you're being a diesel right now or whatever. Because it totally reminded me of such a great like little cultural reference from my childhood. And I think it was used that way intentionally.
Yes.
It was meant. Another interesting thing about this movie is that I feel like it was designed for people our age. I don't know if you got that sense. I got the sense that this movie is really for people between the ages of 20 and like 35. Did you get that sense at all? The intended audience felt really specific to me in a way that I almost was like, I wonder.
My only reason to give you a little pushback is because our lead is Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And a couple of the cameos would be for maybe someone who's a little bit older.
Okay.
Sandra Bullock.
Michael
Shannon.
To rebut that,
okay.
People in our generation love Michael Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
People in our generation like Brad Pitt. I don't know if love is the right word for people. I love him. I love him. So that's two guys from the generation that we're from who love Brad Pitt. And then there's enough. Brian Tyree Henry is a fresher face.
Yes, absolutely.
He's someone that
Aaron
people
Taylor
at our age would definitely know. Aaron Taylor Johnson is as well.
Joey King
is as
Bad
well.
Bunny.
Zazie Beetz.
Yes.
I keep fucking up her name. God damn it.
Zazie.
No, I think it's Zazie. Zazie Beetz.
Well,
Zazie
then you got it
Beetz.
right the first time. What are you saying that's about?
Okay, but anyway, she's kind of a fresher face, and so I think the casting was very deliberate, and I think the entire thing was really aimed at 20. I'm willing to bet if you looked at Sony's like dossier on this, they were like, we want this to hit for like 20 to 40-year-olds maybe.
Great.
I'm saying 20 to 35, but you got to imagine they're thinking broader.
I'm on board for that. I won't disagree.
Because it really landed with me. The cultural references landed with me.
Yeah.
The humor landed with me. Like, the point of view landed with me. Like, I was like, it's hitting all these cylinders for me, like, in a pop cultural sense that I was like, this doesn't feel like a coincidence to me. And I don't know how old David Leitch is or how old Zach is, the writer, but it felt like it was for a younger audience, like a younger adult audience. And I thought that was cool. I don't know. It's cool to like have people make something that's feels like it's for you, and it's not trying to placate you or patronize you, or which sometimes it feels like certain things fucking are. Dune. That movie fucking blows. Dune is awful. It's the biggest piece of shit. Denis Villeneuve, get your shit together. Get your career back on track.
Arguably, Dell is, in my opinion, one of the most critical people of Dune because of how much you like Denny.
I think it is because of how much I like Denny. I hated to see him do that. Yeah. And the movie doesn't hold up under a second watch at all, which was like extremely disappointing for me to find out that it was all bells and whistles and really nothing was in there. Anyway. Yeah. But Bullet Train, so many things to say. It kicks ass, is the bottom line. What was the other? I feel like there was another. It's a very self-aware movie, was the other thing.
Yeah.
Very self-aware. I don't know if you had anything to say about that or if there was something else you wanted to say about it. It's a really self-aware movie. It's self-aware of genre in particular.
Oh, you know what? I'll let you speak to the point. You brought up a great self-aware point at the end of the film when the audience is tired of stories and tired of exposition.
It's totally self-aware at the very end.
Tired of
awesome.
As in any action film, nobody wants to listen to the frickin' monologue from the inspirational mentor or the monologue from the killer villain.
Which the 12-year-olds almost forgot.
And go on.
It's the guy goes, hey,
the elder.
The elder goes, I'm going to tell you a story. Brad Pitt's like, no, I'm good. And he's like, no, like, I'm going to tell you a story. It's not that long. And he's like, no, I'm really wiped. Like, I don't know. And it's just, it's it's being self-aware about the audience's reluctance to be like,
Yes.
oh my god, late in the movie, now we're gonna have the long story explaining everything that just happened. We're gonna have that now. But the movie is being self-aware with it to an extent that it gives you comedic relief before it launches into the thing. And that's fucking brilliant shit. And also the very ending of the movie is the most self-aware sort of punctuation mark at the end of the movie. And it's fucking awesome. Like how at the end, like, Joey King is like really losing her shit, and and Brad Pitt's like, oh, what? I mean, the I don't know if this is now like not exactly the self-awareness point, but she's really losing her shit. And Brad Pitt's like, I'm gonna give you some recommended reading: Surviving Borderline Personality Disorder. It saved my life, And she's like, and he's just like, sort of putting a button on Brad Pitt's. The silliness of his his own self-awareness.
Yes, and his journey with the therapy and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of another self-aware moment at the end. I feel like there are some, but they're just sort of eluding me right now.
I mean, another great moment would probably be, but we already spoke about when the Hornet dies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. But I'm forgetting certain moments. It's eluding me now. It's later in the podcast, so certain things are eluding me. It's eluding me the other ways in which it's self-aware. But the bottom line is, this is a very self-reflexive, self-aware movie. It's like meta on the meta. It's like a little bit of a meta cake in that way, but in a great way, I think.
I do think the meta on the meta you're talking about, and tell me if I'm wrong, is just a lot of the director's willingness to subvert genre, make fun of the genre.
Exactly.
So nobody's looking at the camera. It's not Deadpool like that. But there's a lot of great moments in the film where you expect something to happen within the genre. A bunch of guys are about to kill each other. Okay, another moment, for instance. End of the film. They finally get to Kyoto.
Slapped my knee. Kidding. Wait, cool. They finally get to Kyoto.
Finally get to Kyoto.
Also, this movie made me want to go to. I already wanted to go to Japan. This movie made me want to go to Japan even more.
Oh, I'm about to bring 2 points together. Here we go.
Okay, wonderful.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you were talking about, help me out.
Self-awareness, self-reflexivity.
Self-awareness of the film. Earlier, I was talking about the inevitability of fate and how every character is constantly dealing with this.
Yeah.
I was talking about it regarding the hornet and the snake bite and anti-venom and how you may or may not die. Another great self-aware moment that ties into fate is Brad Pitt for the whole film is carrying or trying to carry a briefcase. And when they finally get to Kyoto,
fucking so funny.
They hand the briefcase to one of the henchmen, and Michael Shannon's like, "Go, open the briefcase," because he wants to make sure he's got his $10 million. And Brad's like relieved that he doesn't have to deal with the briefcase anymore.
Because it has explosives in it.
Nobody knows it has explosives in it. Joey King lined it with explosives with the intent of killing her father with it as well. And so in the corner, self-awareness, fate, we got these two henchmen. Literally, the director spends so much time cutting back and forth.
They're like, wait, why would we open this? Like, why doesn't he open it?
They spend so much time focusing on Michael Shannon and Brad Pitt, and like things are about to go down, and here's another monologue. And these guys in the corner being like, I really don't know. Like, what if this thing blows up? This mask isn't going to protect my face from that.
Right.
My face is going to get melted right
And they're
off.
right. And they're right. There's the inevitability. They're going to end up opening it anyway, and they're going to blow up, which they do.
And how many films do we see that happen? Where, like, some henchman's handed it, and that's it. And
yeah, it was wonderful. No, it was really wonderful, really fucking smart.
Yes.
If you love movies, you're going to love this fucking movie.
It's just so much fun.
Because I'll add an extra word in there. If you love having fun watching movies, you'll love this movie.
Yes.
If you take shit like way too seriously all the goddamn time, maybe this won't work for you. Maybe.
You're a
but
bozo.
It's really great. You're a bozo. Your product stinks, and for that reason, I'm out.
Put the mic down.
Yeah. So what are you doing? What are you doing?
It's time to go. Product stinks.
I was like, what? What? I was so confused. Okay. Anything else you want to say, Gabe, before we move out of the dust up?
I gotta check the timer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all good. I want to say.
Nice cool breeze flowing in here now.
It's a lockup. Bullet Train is a lockup.
It's an absolute lockup.
For me,
we said that before, but yeah, it's an absolute lockup.
It is my highest rated lockup of 2022 so far. I go to the theater to be moved.
It is for me as well.
I go to the theater to be moved.
It is for me.
I go to the theater to laugh. I go to the theater to learn something about myself.
Sorry, go on.
And a lot of other films managed to do that for me. Probably the other top 2 films for me right now would be Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Batman, and...
Wait, was Everything Everywhere a cock-up for me? We didn't frame it that way.
No. I don't think so. Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Batman, and Nope were lockups for me. But Bullet Train, it hit all the buttons I needed.
You know what, Gabe? I think I'm going to echo your sentiment. I think this is the highest rated lockup for me as well. And because I wanted Nope to be that, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me. Nope is really great, and it absolutely, Nope is a lockup for sure, but I got to put Bullet Train above this.
There's good-ass dark comedy in Nope, by the way.
Nope is great.
Jordan
Nope is
Peele
great.
kills that.
But I would say Bullet Train, just because of how emotionally invested I became in it, and how invested I became in it as a person interested in storytelling and telling my own stories through this medium.
Yeah.
Bullet Train kind of ascends a little higher.
Tons of personality.
And I love the cast. Yes. I love the fucking cast.
So well cast.
Oh, man, I love the cast. I love Brian Henry. I love, Zazie Beetz, popping up. Some of my favorite actors just kind of, weaved into this movie. Yeah. And then Brad Pitt, an actor I really like. And some new actors that I haven't really seen their work, like Aaron Taylor Johnson and Joey King. And they're killing it. And I'm, just having a great fucking time.
Yeah, if anybody has a good time, also, we didn't mention this reference earlier, Aaron Taylor Johnson in Kick-Ass, this has got tons of that as well.
He's so goddamn funny, man.
He really is.
And Brian Henry is usually a pretty fucking dramatic actor. And so it was fun seeing Brian Tyree Henry really having a lot more fun with the role, doing something a lot more comedic. I think Aaron Taylor Johnson, to me, is the comedic anchor.
Yeah.
In that dynamic. And Brian Tyree Henry's feeding off of his that sort of comedic anchor he has. Oh man, it's awesome. Cool. It's awesome.
Go see it, folks.
Go see it, man. Please. Go see it. If you love movies, man, you're gonna love this movie, man. So
I always know it's a film I really, really like.
Yeah.
When I feel inclined to buy the Blu-ray. I won't be buying the Blu-ray because I don't buy Blu-rays, but
I'll buy a Blu-ray. I'll put it in my collection. We can watch it together.
I'll put that money on his Blu-ray too. I'll give you $10 towards that. Let's go, son.
Woo! All right. So
hold the mic. I gotta check the time.
Jeez, Louise, we got camera. Wait, this is my press conference moment.
We're at 12. That's great.
This is my press conference moment. All right, David Leitch, thank you so much for directing this movie. Thank you, Sony, for throwing some dough at this thing, and thank you, Zach, the writer. I'm not gonna try to pronounce your last name. I didn't get it right multiple times. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. I gotta go. All right, bye. That was my press conference moment. I did a press conference for Nope too. Remember that?
Yeah, it was good.
And I thanked Jordan Peele, and he actually reached out to me and said, he texted me at 1 a.m. He was like, "Yo, sorry, I was writing my next thing."
Yo, Dale, and you were like, "Yo, Peele."
Yeah, I was like, "Yo, Jordy, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey, man, I saw your press conference on the Movie Addicts podcast. That was cool, man. Thank you so much." I was like, "Dude, thank you." You know what I mean? It was a pretty cool exchange.
Yeah.
But
definitely didn't give us $15,000 just to shout out Nope at all. He'd already
sent me the money, and you know what I mean. But he just wanted to give me a little follow up,
absolutely.
Thanks for doing that, man. Thanks for promoting the movie for me. I said, dude, no problem.
He's a good guy.
Anytime.
We like Jordy.
And he said, yo, you want to come hang out sometime, me and Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. I'm
Palmer.
Dude, that's cool. I'll see if I can fit it in.
I'm gonna need you to get an invite for me as well.
Yeah, I said can Gabe we might not be able to come though, but
I'm just saying Kiki's really pretty.
Yeah,
and I don't know if
beautiful woman. Yeah. So I mean so it's gonna be cool.
Also, it'd be sick just to learn how to ride a horse. That film was sick. Do you think the actors know how to ride horses?
Do you think Jordan Peele knows how to ride a horse?
I believe if he does.
That's interesting. That never occurred to me.
I don't know.
He might. It's interesting. I'm just thinking from a director's standpoint. I've ridden horses into a few movies, and I have only ridden horses a handful of times. So it's so interesting, the idea. But then horses are such a huge part of that movie that it makes you think maybe Jordan Peele has more experience with horses than just a handful of. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
As a storyteller, I wonder. It makes me wonder how closely connected he is to horses. Anyway.
That concludes the dust up.
We don't have a guest, so there's no stick up. And
son of a gun.
What comes after that? The rush up, isn't it?
I mean, we could interview the naked cameraman if we
Yeah,
wanted
well,
to.
I don't know. He's still kind of proving himself.
Yeah,
I don't know about him.
We're gonna leave him off camera for another episode.
I don't know about him. I don't know.
So
he's weirding me out a little bit, so we might have to fire him too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
We could just buy him some underwear.
Yeah. Yeah, he's in the bathroom right now. That's why we're talking about him while he's there.
Yeah, we wouldn't talk about him while he's here.
Yeah, he's in the bathroom.
That'd be
inappropriate. Yeah, maybe. Just get him some. We can just tell him, like, listen, just underwear.
How about a robe? No underwear.
I would rather have him wear underwear. You know what I mean? Robe, who knows when that thing could fly open. Underwear, it feels like I know, I like, we
Surprise!
got it.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel more in control with
Yeah.
him just wearing underwear. Not that I need to be in control, but, like, we'll just bring it up.
You're trying to control fate right now, Dale?
Yeah, I might be trying to control fate.
Sometimes you gotta to face the
Wait, whoa.
face the music.
When the music's over, The Doors. Shout out to Jim Morrison. Okay.
So big bitch pitch
session. The big bitch pitch session, guys, is Gabe and I each pitch. We have 60 seconds to each pitch a real idea that we've really already kind of. I mean, prepared is we've already had prepared. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, we have it written down somewhere.
It's on it's on a napkin in my desk or something, or it could be like, you have 10 pages of notes on it. It doesn't matter.
For sure.
I'm getting a humming here.
Yeah.
It's bothering me. Okay. So Gabe,
I have to pee so bad.
I do too.
Me. Yeah.
All right,
we're
gonna go pee. We'll be back.
I'm so glad I said
the
that.
Movie
As we suffer,
podcast.
or we could choose not to get off and we can suffer.
We'll be back with the movie. No, we'll be back with the movie.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Should we let it keep running?
Yeah, let's just let it keep.
All right, great. Run. It's the Movie Addicts Podcast. It's the Movie Addicts Podcast. It's the Movie Addicts Podcast. Yeah. Movie Addicts Podcast. I can movie addicts. La 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 la. I should probably stop in a second so we can get a fresh take. We're at about 5 minutes left. Word. Dude, that ass is looking powerful in those pants.
It's looking good. All right.
Thank you, Dale. Shall we?
Yeah. All right. Well, now we'll be right back with Movie Addicts Podcast. All right, we're back. There's a few breaks in there. I don't know what we're going to edit out, what we're not going to edit out.
Keeping it all. They're going to hear me sing the Addicts podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, final stretch, baby.
We got to figure out. Do you already have a pitch in mind?
Yeah, I do.
Damn.
Ready to go?
Let me get my little app open at least.
I'm sweating,
But
so
you
I went
go
downstairs like, oh, I'm not really sweating that much. Huge stains on my shirt.
First. Sorry, Dale.
Looking in the bathroom mirror. Oh, that's great.
Everybody was looking in the bathroom mirror. Okay, let's just get something here random.
Whew.
Sorry, guys. I should be more prepared for this.
Yeah, I got a bunch of meetings to
Yeah,
get to, so
you gotta go.
I feel like you're kind of.
Holding up the.
Thought you'd be a little more prepared than this.
I know. I really. I'll just pick something out.
Go for it.
All right. Well, I'm not going first. You're gonna go first.
So I'm pitching to you. I'll set my own timer, I guess.
Yeah, baby. Oh, I can set a timer. Want me to set a timer?
I already said it. All right, what
Oh
I'm
my
pitching
Lord.
you today is a Jim Morrison biopic.
Ooh.
I love Jim Morrison. I love The Doors. Oliver Stone's The Doors, 1991, is one of my favorite movies. But I really connect with the character of Jim Morrison. With a few exceptions. I don't. Not quite like the sexual escapades and certain like the drug use and stuff, but I connect with him. I read this Rolling Stone article today, a full interview with him, I think from 1969, and it was so fascinating to me because I just identified so much with so many of his answers to just like kind of all of the questions, and I just think like he's sort of my ancestral brother, like Irish, big time Irish ancestry, and down to I even think I kind of look like him. Some people agree with that evaluation. Some people don't.
Why don't you look at the fans at home and
Yeah, listen, guys. Look at a pic and see if you agree.
if I look like Glenn Howerton, you can look like Jim Morrison.
Absolutely. Well, but here's the thing. I want to do a Jim Morrison biopic. My time's up here. I want to do a Jim Morrison biopic, but he doesn't die at 27.
Whoa.
It's a little bit of an alternate history kind of thing where he keeps on living and you kind of see what he's able to achieve if he had sort of taken care of himself, gotten sober, like worked out some of his demons, that sort of thing.
What a crazy concept.
So that's my idea.
Damn.
Yeah.
I don't have to say, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I admittedly don't know much about Jim Morrison, so I like, what would how did his life end, for those of us at home who don't know, and how would you want his life to end in this film?
He died supposedly of a heroin overdose in Paris.
Okay.
He was with his longtime girlfriend, who he was basically, married to. I mean, they never actually officially got married, but it was actually determined after he died. It was determined, like the court, she wanted Pamela, his de facto wife, essentially wanted to be the heir to his estate, which is fair. She wanted to be the heir to his estate, so she, filed to be. And the court ruled that they actually had a common law marriage because they were, like, basically just so their lives are so intertwined that, like, she was the heir to the estate.
Wow. How old was he when he died?
27. So he was one of the, like, original young. 27 club people.
Whoa.
And he died. So he died of a heroin overdose. Highly unfortunate. There's people who, like, have conspiracy theories and think he was whatever. I think I don't know. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so that's not where I would take this. But I do believe that he actually died of a heroin overdose because I think he got into heroin kind of around the time it was starting to really pop off, and he was also a guy with a lot of money, a lot of access to drugs, and so he could easily get it. And I would want him to be like he died in a bathtub.
Okay.
So I can imagine, like, we see him die, like we see like his heart's no longer beating, like he's dead, and the audience knows, oh, Jim Morrison dies. So this is the part of the movie where he dies, and then he like wakes back up.
Wow.
And he like gets like another chance at living, and he does it, what would he do differently if he like was able, like he went down, like because he sort of spiraled really toward like death. He was really on like kind of a bad path with his substance use, but he was really so brilliant, and I think people were really robbed of like a lot of creative achievements that he would have contributed if he had stayed alive longer. So I'm like, what would he have done differently if he had gotten that second chance at living?
Man, what an epic, like... Well, okay, so here's the question. Would it be the conclusion of the first sequence, the first act, maybe literally the inciting incident? Like, what are your thoughts?
I know. I think it's the end of the first act when he is revived. Like, when he's revived and doesn't actually
And in
OD.
this film, how many acts do you see? 5, 3, 2?
My instinct is not to make it traditional 3-act structure.
Okay.
Yeah, to make it more like 4 or 5. And make it a little episodic. I would be okay with it being a little more episodic.
Dale, you know what would be so hard about this film? I just realized.
What?
Who's gonna write the music that he writes? In the
Yeah.
future years to
Well, I
come?
think there's a lot of still living
That
band
would
members.
That would be epic.
Yeah.
If you guys could have original music.
Yes. But it's all, you could do it. It's like how like they created like the AI version of Val Kilmer's voice.
Right.
It's like we're getting to a point where technology can help us imagine what people, and for some, this is a little bit of a scary concept. It can help us imagine what direction certain things would have gone.
Yeah.
With some amount of accuracy, right? It's like you can recreate a person who can no longer verbally speak. You can recreate like the sound of their voice, for instance. You could like, I think you could sort of use something. You could use it. There could be an intersection of art and technology here that could be really crazy and innovative. Where there's a lot of still living Doors band members. The other three guys, I think, are all still living, if I'm not mistaken. And so I think with their help and cooperation, and obviously you want to be respectful of the estate. You want to be respectful of his still living relatives and whatever, not whatever, like you want to be sensitive to all of that. But I think you could come up with some really interesting solutions with the, collaborating with the people who are still alive who knew like what he was really like and also it's like it was a band, it would be a movie that the Doors kicked ass as a band. Like Jim Morrison is sort of the mythological figure because he died in such a crazy fashion and was like such a...
So did the band go on without him?
Yeah.
Ah.
And they were really talented, man. Like it's, the guitarist, there's a guitarist, a keyboardist, and a drummer, all of whom are really, really talented musicians. Yeah. And so without him, they guitarist, had, some amount of success. So.
You're saying that was the whole band?
That was the whole band, 4 guys.
Guitarist?
Jim and then...
So 2 guitarists? Or he was just a
singer?
No,
1 guitarist. 1 guitarist, 1 keyboardist, 1 drummer. He was just a singer.
Oh.
Yeah. He didn't play any instruments.
Though, or what did
he was a songwriter. Yeah, songwriter, vocalist. Yeah. Yeah. It would be. I think it would be crazy. Like to me, it's a cool idea.
So your time's up, and that was a nice idea. And
yeah. No, I just
honestly, guys, this is a very inspiring thing. Dale somehow weaves a Doors reference multiple times a week, and this excites me that this is a project so close, so dear to heart.
Yeah.
That I think you could kick ass on, and I love the premise. I really like the premise.
Yeah, and it's listen, I think there are a lot of obstacles to there would be a lot of obstacles to actually getting it done the right way. Yeah. Because you'd want people's cooperation, you'd want people to be like the band members and people who really knew him to be like on board with it. You wouldn't want to be like, you don't want people to feel disrespected or slighted.
For sure.
I'm really a believer in that when it comes to talking about real people's lives. But I think there's handled the right way. It could be cool. And if you overcome certain obstacles, and then you also have to decide which of the obstacles are really important and which of them aren't. Because I think Oliver Stone had to do that for his 1991, for his film, was okay, he got the band members' cooperation, but it's also you have to take some creative liberties. Yeah. And it's because the film has to be its own piece of art.
Right.
And I also think artists would be more readily understand something like that. So these guys, I think the Doors movie in 1991 with Val Kilmer, who I also love. It's like two of my artists. It's like one of my favorite artists, actors playing another fucking amazing artist that I now love, like wrapped into one. But I think like these band members must have understood that Oliver Stone's vision for that movie was going to be pretty. It's very artful. It takes a lot of liberties. It's very subjective, the approach to it, but it's like, you know, those guys recorded an entire album of re-recordings with Val Kilmer for that movie for the soundtrack.
Wow.
So like they went hard on this shit, and they clearly like appreciated the movie. So
must have been sick.
And they also had great actors portraying them really accurately.
Yeah.
And really great actors really accurately portraying like other members, like their manager, and Paul Rothschild, like a producer who worked with them for a lot of their projects. Like, you know, it's just like Oliver Stone took a lot of care with the story, but, you know, obviously big shoes to fill.
Hell yeah.
I think it'd be cool, though.
Well done, sir.
Thanks, sir. Well, I want to hear what you...
I feel like I just got to pick a random idea.
So just so you know, it's 6:28. So
whatever. Let's just keep going.
Hold on. Wait, I don't want to start the time. Let me know when you're ready.
Do I need to text Eva? She's asking when we're leaving.
Say quarter to...
Do you need to get dressed or take a shower or anything?
No, like I'm good.
All right. I'm going to tell her 6:50.
Okay.
6:50.
We're going out to dinner after this.
Yeah, baby.
For the people listening. We're going out to dinner after this. We're doing some fancy schmancy fucking...
Do you want to drive or is Eva driving?
Aren't I behind Eva?
Great.
Yeah, I should drive.
Dale can drive. All right, here we go. Let's see what I got here.
All right.
Oh, you know what?
Are you doing it? Are you ready?
I just bumped into an idea which I thought would be great. Let me pull it up real quick. It's not a biopic, but it's based on a true story.
Okay.
All right.
You're on. You're on the clock. You're on the clock.
This is the untitled. This is gonna sound ridiculous. The untitled Milton anti-Semite 20th century gang film.
Okay, insane. Okay, all right, keep going. All right,
so Catherine, I was a caretaker for this epic woman in her 90s for like 7 years. And
in New York.
I would meet different people in her life, and one of her friends was Milton. Milton is like the OG Lower East Side New York Jewish man.
Okay.
You talk with him. He was an engineer. He lived on the Lower East Side his whole life. He's got like the perfect like New York accent.
Right.
He's such a good guy. So anyway, Milton tells me this crazy story, which I need to do research on. And it's about a preacher who was evangelizing anti-Semite propaganda. He had a hired group of security guards plus the additional protection from the NYPD constantly skulking around. This is a true story. The Jews in the neighborhood got sick of him because this guy's preaching hate and everything.
Yeah,
and this is like the 20s, maybe the 30s.
Yeah.
So in order to get rid of him, they hatched a plan. They knew a few men who owned a few movie delivery trucks.
Oh, cool.
They hired the trucks and purposely crashed them at a nearby street to distract the police. Then the rest of the crew fought off the security guards, grabbed the preacher, and threw him off a nearby bridge. So for me, it sounds like a crazy like mob Ocean's 11 piece. It could be fun and historical.
Yeah.
But something sounded like really powerful about like imagine something that we literally just watched.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
Sick,
I like
right?
that.
Imagine
idea,
these guys in Bullet Train and like take that, put it in like a 1920s mob film, introduce the characters like comic book characters and this like Lower East Side, I guess like group of honestly you could have like the rabbi, you know, and you could have the merchant and these different guys who like own their shops. They probably don't have a ton of money. Everyone's kicking their ass. You know, the brownies are not good to them. The brownies are like lower level cops, but everyone beat on the brownies. But the brownies, you know, they were traffic cops and they weren't good either.
Yeah,
and I just love this idea of like this ensemble that could celebrate like New York life, especially through the eyes of like New York Jewish American women, men and women in the early 20th century. And meanwhile, it sounds kind of ridiculous, kind of like a Tarantino revenge fantasy.
Yeah.
But like
this preacher's being an asshole.
It has like elements of Inglourious Basterds.
A little bit, yeah, exactly. And I love the idea when I heard that they rented movie trucks.
Like delivering for like film prints.
Whatever it could be. I don't know. I was imagining
movie trucks.
I was imagining movie trucks in terms of like movie equipment. Like there's a
like
studio nearby. Grip trucks,
okay,
exactly.
Okay, wow.
Exactly. And so I thought it would just be kind of epic.
What would a grip truck in the 1920s look like? I'd be fascinated. But anyway,
I know, exactly.
I have no idea.
And back then, everything was done in the studio. They didn't do anything on location, right?
I was just way more. I mean, no. Well, that's not true. I mean, that's things were shot on location. It was much more common to shoot something. If you were going to shoot something narratively, you shoot it in the studio.
I'd have to do
shoot it in a
I'd have to do
stage.
some research to think what sound.
And there was no sound quite yet.
Right. True. So I'd have to do research, obviously, into what studio lots were in New York at the time, if any.
Yeah.
And then from there, how we could weave a story, because apparently, according to Milton, this was based on a true story. I should probably hit him up and try to find some newspaper clippings or something, because it was just like.
It sounds really cool.
Yeah, I
like the idea a lot.
It's
This sounds like something that could really get made. Like that's what I like. I like that. Like you could facilitate the. You could facilitate getting this made pretty. Like more swiftly than like the obstacles that exist for my Jim Morrison biopic don't exist, I don't think, for something like this.
You don't
because
think so?
No, it's a good recipe. What you're describing is a good recipe for getting something made in the current landscape.
Okay.
Which is based on a true story.
Yeah.
There's sort of like this
it's a period
nice
piece.
Like anti-fascist thing in there
Yep,
that people are like you can get behind, and
right.
There's characters that are immediately kind of popping out.
Right.
There's a tone that's immediately popping out. A lot of things. You have a good recipe for something here.
Sure. So, but that's kind of it. You know, like part of me, like some of these pitches.
That thing kind of pitches itself. It's interesting. It's a good one.
I think so.
You should seriously like keep that one.
It'd be really fun if at some point you and I found a way to like actual just beat pitch decks out.
Yeah.
Just knock them out, highest quality as we can.
Yeah.
And just have them ready to go.
Yeah. You mean for all of our ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially Beverly Hills Taxi Driver.
Beverly Hills Taxi Driver is, I mean, one of the greatest pitches ever made in this industry.
If we could get Eddie Murphy to produce it, because he was in Beverly Hills. He was in Beverly Hills.
I love
Cop,
Eddie Murphy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Eddie.
So he'll produce Taxi Driver.
Oh man, that'd be great.
Hell yeah. And Bob De Niro, because he was in Taxi Driver as well.
Bob De Niro would be, yeah.
Those two guys as co-producers, they
Beverly
crush.
Hills Taxi Driver, yeah.
You got any other films for me to do? I got another 30 seconds.
Yeah, so what time we have here? 6:35. So we got to wrap it up soon.
Yeah, baby.
So we're going to dinner. We're going to do a fancy dinner. We're getting a discount, all sorts of things.
We're getting tacos and tequila. So if you consider
very
that fancy.
fancy.
It is a fun restaurant.
No, it's cool.
Shout out to Petty Cash if anybody wants to go to Petty Cash.
Shout out to Petty Cash.
Los
Gabe
Angeles,
works there.
Beverly.
I'm
going to give you $10 million.
Yeah.
You're going to have 3 weeks to shoot.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And it's going to take place.
Well, you didn't like my. So you didn't like my Jim Morrison idea, or you want me to do a little? You want me to do a little?
Jim Morrison, we got to put on ice because I think you got something better.
Sure. Yeah. And
something more personal to your heart.
Yeah. So
I mean, got a personal story that might.
Yeah. So
it's
life. Interesting. It's called Ring of Shit.
Go on.
Yeah, kind of an edgy title.
It's a little edgy, but I think I can
Ring
get
of
the
Shit.
demographic.
Ring of Shit, and it's about This is interesting. Gets a little
dicey. On the nose. Is it
it's Ring of. So it's like about not a sex ring.
Okay.
A ring of feces.
Great.
Distributing human feces for money.
Oh, this makes sense.
Kind of like a Craigslist kind of people selling their shit, that kind of thing.
A lot of pharmaceutical companies, they use stool samples in order to like learn about the human body. Is that what you're...
Yes, it is. But yes, it is. Yes, and there's also a lot of corruption in that industry. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't.
Yeah, there
Go
is.
on.
And what'll happen is someone will take a shit, like in a box for like to send to a pharmaceutical company, like stool samples to see if they have colonitis or whatever. But these kind of middlemen criminal guys will go and pay off the transportation guys to steal some of the sample. So like, let's say it's one log of shit. They're like, listen, I'll pay you a grand for half of that log. So the delivery guy still gets to say, oh, the shit made it there. Okay. But technically, and no one would know this because you're not supposed to open the shit sample anyway in transportation. No one's gonna know this, but technically it's actually only half of the shit. So that's a really great lucrative business because they're not going to get wise to the fact that you're cutting the shits in half for money to siphon off.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
You're proposing that there's a black market ring.
Yes.
That uses...
Ring of shit.
The ring of shit. You're suggesting there's a ring of shit that siphons off pharmaceutically tested feces.
Yes.
And uses the different bacteria that develop, that culture.
Yeah.
They use it for nefarious, terrorizing purposes.
Yes. Well, that's where it gets. That's the big twist.
So I need a leader of the pharmaceutical, and I need a leader of the shit circle.
Yeah, it gets real. Yes, it gets really dark. Like, you think they're just doing it for some dough, but then it begs the question: well, why do they want half of the shit? The answer is, and there's a genre switch, they're building a shit monster.
This is a horror film.
It's a horror. It's like a monster horror film.
Oh, my goodness.
Big genre shift. So you think it's going to be like one of those crime dramas based on a true story kind of things, kind of feels. Then there's a big genre shift, kind of like Parasite. You ever seen that movie?
I haven't. But you're giving me...
big...
I was going to say, you're giving me the vibe. If anybody knew this, one of the largest living organisms in the world...
Yeah.
is a jellyfish that lives in the North Atlantic. And it's technically multiple jellyfish, all attached, multiple bacteria, all attached. Yeah. Are you telling me that they're going to take the cultures from the shit and they're going to make a massive multicellular, multi-organism creature?
That is what I'm telling you, yes.
Does it get unleashed?
Yes.
On what city?
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong has a massive...
Hong Kong.
Can the shit fly or does it swim?
It can only walk very slowly, but it's terrifying.
That makes sense. Like The Thing.
Right? Yeah, exactly like
or the Blob, 1950s.
Yes. Or Godzilla. It's a classic monster movie. It really makes that shift into a classic monster movie, even though you think it's going to be this kind of crime drama.
What do they call those Japanese films with monsters? It's a whole genre. It's I wish I knew. You know, talking like Mothra or
The Host. You're talking about?
No. I don't want to kill the momentum. I'm sensing this is that whole genre.
Yeah.
Give me one.
It's all good. That's really my whole pitch.
Japanese. I think this is fantastic.
Thank you so much. Japanese I'll send you an email about it.
I'm gonna be kaiju. It's a kaiju film.
Okay. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so kaiju films. They're all the big monsters that knock down cities and buildings.
Amazing.
So can you give me? I want to hear who you think is going to be the lead actors on this.
In Ring of Shit.
Ring of Shit.
So I was thinking Steven Yeun.
Definitely.
Because I loved him in Nope.
He killed it.
So Steven Yeun.
Okay.
Natalie Portman.
Amazing.
Their husband and wife.
Great. Go on.
Steven Yeun, Natalie Portman.
They're in Hong Kong.
And familiar face, Michael Shannon.
Yeah.
Because he leads the Ring of Shit.
This sounds very promising.
Yeah. I'll send you an email about it. Thank you so much for hearing
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, listen, I liked your...
I just want to say real quick.
Sure.
Between Morrison and Ring of Shit...
You like Ring of Shit more.
Ring of Shit's
yeah.
It's just resonating with me on like a spiritual
that's
level.
Cool. That's cool. No, I definitely don't. Yeah.
I think it fits into the zeitgeist a little bit more too.
Okay, sure. Sure. Well, listen, I loved your movie truck
20th century
anti-fascist
anti-Semite
thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
I liked it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to, probably find some IP to circle around it, and I don't know if we'll be able to get this thing, off the ground so quickly. So do you have something? I heard that you had something that we could get off the ground pretty quick.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ready-made, kind of ready to rip, and you were, like, feeling good about it.
What
was that?
I have an entire script ready to go.
Okay, sure.
It's about 300 pages long.
Yeah, okay.
And
people are really into 300-page stuff.
I was going to say, it's about...
What is it about?
It's about the carpenter.
Okay.
The carpenter.
Like Jesus.
Like Jesus.
Okay, sure.
Exactly.
Wait, so it's a period piece?
This is a period piece.
About Jesus?
In America.
Okay, so Jesus in America?
Mormons.
Okay, sure.
So.
Sure. Tell me about pages.
Basically,
I'm liking this.
I guess it's kind of I guess you could say in the way Jim Morrison and in his biopic, it could be kind of like a Joseph Smith, I believe. That's the gentleman who started the Mormon church.
Yes.
So maybe it's like a fly on the wall kind of pick. I guess is what I'm getting on. We have about it's mostly treatment, I guess you could say, but we have about.
I thought you said you had a script.
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
300 pages of dialogue.
Oh, like a Tarantino style. You wrote it out freehand.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I think we got to cut off.
So we have like a script. We need to get it transcribed and everything.
I need to probably just trim it a little bit, like 20 to 30 pages. Still leave like 250 pages in there.
Okay,
but
sure.
It's going to be like a fly on the wall. Joseph Smith, he's got a really...
It's called The Carpenter?
It's called The Carpenter.
Okay.
There's a man who goes around the Mormons in Utah, and he builds all their houses.
Okay.
And it's kind of a revenge fantasy as well.
So it's historical fiction.
Historical fiction, exactly.
Okay.
And so what happens is the carpenter who lives with the Mormons.
Okay.
He feels great understanding and revelation.
Okay.
By being involved. Okay. With the early Church of the Latter-day Saints.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there comes a time where basically, and it's kind of really sad. Oh, give me a second. Hold on.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm loving this idea. And Gabe's gonna keep telling us about The Carpenter when we're back on the Movie Addicts podcast. And we're back on the Movie Addicts podcast. Yeah, I'm on the edge of my seat here. You gotta
ready for this?
Yeah.
So in the Church of the Latter-day Saints, that you can take multiple wives. Right?
No longer true. Well, yes.
Excuse me. 19th century, there was a time.
Yes.
I don't want to speak.
I understand. Yes.
I'm not looking to.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. It was.
So we'll
true.
say there was an extreme.
Yes, it was true.
Group,
it was once true. Yes.
Of polygamous Mormons, and this gentleman gets wrapped up, and basically he sees his entire family become part of the group, and then his wife dies. And even though the Church of the Latter-day Saints are bringing love and life and support into, he gets really twisted about it. It was a really deep, dark winter. And
kind of like The Witch a little bit.
Kind of like The Witch. 19th century, though. Exactly.
19th century, sure.
So they're moving across the Rocky Mountains, trying to get to Chicago to bring some more lumber, because they have to sell lumber to Michigan. You staying with me?
Okay, yeah. That one, yeah, I am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And long story short,
Michigan, like to the whole state, or
no, Chicago, Detroit, because Chicago's in Michigan.
Well, okay, so Chicago now. Chicago's involved.
We're talking Lake Michigan, Chicago, and Illinois.
Sure.
Maybe he stops in Detroit at one point.
Okay, there's just like a scene in Detroit.
Right, exactly.
There's a scene in Detroit.
And long story short, he gets really twisted about his wife passing during the storm.
Yeah.
And so by one, he takes out his revenge on the caravan.
Fuck.
Does he survive?
Yeah, wow.
I want to think There Will
Be... This is all sorts of genres.
I know, it's tough. I want to think There Will Be Blood.
Fuck, okay.
Meets The Witch.
Okay, jeez Louise.
Meets maybe a little touch of... Are you familiar with City of Angels? Nick Cage and Meg Ryan?
Never. Yeah, I am.
I think it's City of Angels.
No, never seen it, actually.
Never seen it. I might be completely wrong about this.
Damn, so, wow. Whew.
It's gonna be a beautiful piece.
Yeah. Wow.
And
it's like a historical epic.
Well, it's supposed to be a historical epic. I'm feeling a little self-conscious that it might piss off some people in the religious community.
Yeah, it might.
And
here's the thing about that. It might.
Tell me about that.
It might. It might. Here's the thing about that. The bar has maybe been set so high with the Book of Mormon that I'm not too worried about that.
I mean, I was gonna say the bar has been set
and
so high.
And this is a drama, so it's harder to piss people off with a drama. We're doing this.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like your other idea. I didn't want to say it to you. I like this one though.
This
one's the real one.
You prefer it?
Yeah, this one's the real one. Like this one's the one.
All right. I'm gonna need about.
The other one you had written down. Oh, you pitched it. Oh.
I'm gonna need about $1 million per page. Can you do that?
Holy shit. Yeah, we can do that.
You can do $270 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want Inarutu to direct it.
Oh yeah.
He could do it.
And he's won Academy Awards, so he's expensive too. He his rate is not very.
I know.
Yeah. Well, we're
gonna give him about $200 million of the budget.
My time's up. I gotta run. Send me an email about that. Though. That was
Just
great.
send you an email.
Inaritu. I love Inaritu. That's gonna be expensive.
Great.
After that, we pay you your $1 million a page.
Done. I got you, baby.
All right.
You're gonna get full profit back.
Thanks for coming in.
It's gonna ride the wave.
All right. Well, you heard some great ideas. You heard some real ideas. You heard some fake ideas.
Fake ideas. Did you give a fake idea?
All right, that one got crazy.
I'm
like,
just saying,
improvisation that got crazy.
I'm just saying the Carpenter.
We went. I went on a journey. I was like, I'm on the frontier. I'm
Absolutely.
in Michigan.
Let's go.
I'm
Chicago.
in Detroit. I'm in Chicago. I'm like,
you're in the Rockies.
I'm having whiplash
Absolutely.
from your historical.
Yep.
Well, this was. We got to go to dinner. This was the movie.
We got to hit a couple
podcast.
of points. Like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Or don't like. But still
dislike.
Subscribe.
Give me a dislike. Don't give me nothing. Give me a dislike or a like.
Dislike and subscribe.
Come
on. Bullet Train's Lockup. See the film.
Go see it. Go see it in a movie theater. It's fun.
And if you let us know which pitches you like. If you prefer Ring of Shit. If you prefer the Carpenter.
And let us know about the actual pitches, like the Morrison thing and I don't know what's your Untitled thing.
We'll call Untitled Milton Project.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's it, boys and
girls.
girls.
Well, this was the Movie Addicts Podcast. I'm Dale.
And this is Gabe.
Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. I'm gonna go get some tacos.
Amazing. That got dark really fast.
All right, that's that, man.
Well done.